What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Today is a very special day. It is my birthday today. I'm getting older and grayer, so as a result, I'm hiding it with the hat. But I've got so many great panelists here. One for the very first time. Today, we are going to talk Hot Toys news. We're going to talk about Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. We're going to talk a little bit about our late great friend, Mr. Classy Thomas, of course, and so much more. So guys, stick around. If you like the video, don't mind, hit the like button for me. That would be appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to the show, and let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty then, let's get nuts. Let's get some music going here. Let's bring our first guest out of the day. First time on Let's Get Nuts. We have Mr. Michael Elliott, figure in a bubble, with us. How are you, good sir? Thank you for being here.
Fantastic, and really appreciate the invite. And
Of course.
happy birthday.
I'm drinking water at this point, good sir.
Good.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much. I love that Thor statue there, dude. That is
Yeah,
cool.
part of the new McFarlane line.
Mhm.
He's doing 6-scale statues. Yeah, really dope. Really dope.
6-scale statues. That's awesome, dude. I love the coloration, even just like the cell shading that it's got in there, like so nice. So
This is,
But dude-
to me, this is the definitive Thor.
100%.
So, and it's the Kirby version of it. It's just fantastic. I love it. And he's got others coming out. He's got some ones in 10 scale, but they're too small.
Too small, yeah.
But I want to collect a bunch of the 6 scales because I'm done with Marvel Legends.
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, Hano is still kind of an option if you're looking 6-scale of like the classic look for the comics as well, but they seem to be really slow and spotty in their releases,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, I don't think they've teased Thor before, but we still haven't got it yet. It's just like, dude, like what are they doing? So, hey, you know what? Collectors are going to find what they want in their pieces other places if these companies drag their feet, right? So, dude, it's a sweet piece, but I'm so happy to have you here. Finally, thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me that you wanted
Let's
back
go.
on. Heck yeah, and anytime you can be here is always appreciated. We got our next guest here, of course. I call him VM in the chat because I always have a really hard time spelling his name every time he pops up. So I love this man, VM. We got Valkyrie Magnus in the house with us. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome back to the show. How are you, man?
Thank you very much, and of course, happy birthday, Ben Thomas. Glad to be on the show, and finally, glad to have figure in the bubble with me here today too, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, because we chat all the time in
Yeah.
the Figure Lowdown chat. This is the first time we've actually streamed together. So
It's crazy. That's crazy. And it's funny too, right? Because it is a small community in that sense. I feel like every time I go into a live show, I'm like, hey everyone, and it's like, man, a whole list of people that are, in every show every time, right? And it's like you do start to really become good friends with people across the board. And I mean, again, we're going to talk about Classy a little bit later in the show today, but absolute example of that for me is like that guy became a family member of mine over the years. So like, love that guy. So it's the community is great. People say the community is kind of like a hot button word sometimes, and I disagree. I think the right people, they connect with each other, and it's amazing. So, dude, Valkyrie, happy to have you back, my friend.
Thank you.
Always excited to hear your take on some of this fun stuff today, especially Mr. Pete. Only Fools and Collecting, a division of Collecting Weekly, once again back in the house with us, buddy. How are you doing today, man?
Yeah, good. Thanks, man. I mean, I think only a week ago I was saying I don't know when I'll be on next, and obviously we had some sad news this week about our dear friend Classy Thomas, and obviously I haven't had a chance to kind of say some words about him online. So I really wanted to come on this show as a sort of a tribute to him. And also say happy birthday, Ben. Many
Thanks, buddy.
congratulations to everybody who's got a birthday. There seems to be quite a few people with birthdays today, but yeah, glad you. It sounds like you had a bit of a banger evening last night. So hopefully you can just chill out now and have some fun. Yeah.
When I woke up at noon today, feeling like I was on death's doorstep, I was like, I may have overcommitted to the show today. Oh God! But
you don't look too bad.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm excited for it. So, but yeah, Pete, dude, happy you're back. We'll definitely have some time here to chat about Classy. We're gonna keep it as light, obviously, as possible. We still want to have fun in honor of Classy. Let's be honest. He would not want us to be sad that long. He would immediately throw in a funny joke and make us all laugh. So we'll have some of that in here as well today, and lots of figure news, guys. So let's jump right into it then. As a result, my friends, let's see here. I wanted to pop this up. So yes, it is a birthday. Thank you to all the wishes that have come through today. I'm seeing them in the chat. I haven't even had a chance to respond to all the Facebook messages and everything yet. So I will get to you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the wishes. And happy birthday to Brick Artemis as well. Another fellow YouTuber out there in the world. We share the same day, which is cool. So clearly we are now best friends. But I thought it was interesting. I saw this post the other day as well. So when you're officially older than the parents you watched on TV. So I'm now the same age as Tim the frickin' Tool Time Taylor. You hate to see it. But I was like, man, like 30s for people back then looked a lot older, in my opinion. And it's interesting for me. So I don't know if you guys could relate to this as well. Obviously, we're all varying ages here. But like, has there been any like birthdays that you guys have ever had that have been like real standout parties, or like birthdays, something that like really stood out to you? Maybe you got a cool collectible that birthday or anything like that. For me, I'll let you guys think about that for a second. For me, yesterday I had a great time in a garage party with friends. They had a smoke machine and a karaoke machine and all the beer you could drink and all the things. So that was a really special one. But for me, my birthdays typically were really special as a kid. My mom knew how much I liked action figures, and so birthdays were always like the action figure time of year. I'd get Batmans and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and all that. So I always really liked birthdays as a kid, and still do, of course. But Pete, do any birthdays for you stand out in your mind?
Well, I just turned 50 last month, so that was a really nice. Didn't do anything massive. Went away with the family, so that was really nice. But I think one that stands out to me was my 30th, because I was in your beautiful country, Ben. I was in Vancouver, nice. Celebrating my 30th with a friend of mine that had moved out over there. So I think in terms of like big events, my 30th stands out because I was in Los Angeles and I went up to Vancouver and stuff. So that was a great place to celebrate my birthday there. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Vancouver's about 12 hours for me, 12 to 14 hours. So
I get it's a big country. Yeah. But it was beautiful. A real contrast to Los Angeles, obviously.
It's crazy though, because it's like flight wise I can get there in 45 minutes. So like I can jump on a quick 45-minute flight and I'm there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but as I said, it's an all day drive if I want to do it. When my buddy moved out to Vancouver, he came to Calgary and visited me here, and then I drove him there in one night, and we kind of I'd overcommitted it a little bit. I had to work until 5 o'clock that day, and I started driving him at 5 p.m. and we drove all through the night, all into the next day. It was way too much driving. But, it was a fun road trip still.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? Any birthdays that stand out for you? Any maybe cool gifts that you got? Anything that stood out for you for the birthday celebration?
Actually, I've been lucky to get like a lot of good toys, but it was like maybe about 7 years ago or 8 years ago. So just as a little bit of a background, I work in aviation manufacturing, and one of the my favorite planes I've ever worked on was the 747. So my wife got me this cutaway model of a 747. It was like really big, and then part of it was like you can actually the fuselage was actually clear, so you can see all the stairs, all the baggage, all the seats inside. And I was like, wow, just totally geeked out over it. So that's actually one of the premier planes in my collection.
That's cool. How many planes do you have in your collection?
So I have like I usually carry like I buy two scales. One is 1/500 where you have like planes like about this big, and then 1/200 where they're about that big. I've got 30 planes with the ones this big, and maybe 50 planes are the ones this big.
That's insane. One of my favorite memories, as a kid, from my dad's side, was we used to build model airplanes as a kid, and we would hang them in my room, in like at his house. And so in that bedroom, I had planes all over the place, and there was the occasional Star Wars ship in there, and or Star Trek as well. But it was mostly airplanes, and that was a pretty cool room back then. You wonder what happens to all that kind of stuff over time. You know what I mean? Like did they just throw them out at some point? Like they were cool models. Like whatever happened to those? I wonder. So I should ask him about that. But what about you, Michael? Any birthdays for you that ever stood out, or anything that you got maybe as a gift that you were like, that's freaking awesome?
Yeah, probably when I was a kid more than anywhere in my life. And one Christmas, my father went just totally full bore and got the family a TV. I got a drum set. My brother got a guitar. Then he also bought back then they had what was called Super 8 cameras. And family of cameras. I used to go around, and I still have Super 8 movies of the family back when I was a little kid.
What?
And I've been meaning to get them transferred over to digital. It costs a lot of money to do it.
Yeah,
it does.
I wanted to do it because the tapes. I've been carrying them around everywhere I go. When I move, they go with me. And the last time I looked at them a couple of years ago, or at least I'm not able to look at them on a projector. I need to get one of those. But the last time I took the tapes out, they were still fairly flexible, so they're not decaying. I tried to keep them in cool, dry places. So yeah, but that's probably the only Christmas that like really stands out, because it was mind-boggling when me and my brothers came down to the Christmas tree. We saw boxes of all sizes, because they had like drones, all kinds of stuff. It was incredible that year. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Want to quickly shout out Rachel Miller in the chat, my mom. I saved this. I didn't until I saw you pop up. So I've not opened this yet. This is my birthday gift from my mom. I already have an idea of what it is, but I haven't had a chance to actually see it in person yet. For those that don't know, my mom is actually a hooker, a rug hooker, that is. And so,
oh, look at that!
Oh,
wow,
that's amazing.
Where is it? Here we go. The Ben Thomas
well,
Show.
who's the guy on the? No, I'm just kidding.
Crazy, eh?
Nice.
Copy.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
I think I'll probably
awesome.
put that maybe like somewhere
Very
on the
cool.
closet
Yeah.
so you guys can see.
Yeah, there you.
So,
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah,
Looks
brilliant.
good.
Yeah,
Great job.
Good.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I saw it. I saw it when I went to home to visit there a couple months ago. It was kind of like half complete, and I always laugh because I do cross stitching as well as one of my hobbies. And whenever you're doing somebody's face, when you're halfway through it, it looks like nightmare fuel because it's just like different colors, and it's like. So I was curious what this would end up looking like. It looks really good.
It looks really good on that wall behind you too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll put it like maybe like right here on the closet. Yeah, on the closet. So very cool. Well done. I love you lots. Thanks for that. Guys, let's move on. I want to keep it going. And Michael, I don't know if you're coming through your microphone, buddy. Do you have a mic, or are you using a computer mic?
Am I coming in low or too high?
You're just coming in spotty, like you're cutting in and out just ever so slight. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. So because otherwise I can hear you pretty clearly when you're coming through clear. So let's move on here. So I actually put this on the list here for us today, guys, because Aaron Articulates was going to be here and he was hoping to talk some Last of Us. He's running late or can't make it. So I'll quickly touch on this. I think it's interesting to me that the Last of Us Season 2 finale has seen a 55% decrease compared to the first season. And the boys over Collecting Weekly, we've been having some great back and forths in our collector chat about like whether this was a good show, a bad show, poorly done show, all of the things. For me, like, I loved the video games, absolutely freaking loved the games. And so, obviously, I've played them so many times that I know that story through and through and through. The first season I thought did a great job, for the most part. I never loved Bella Ramsey as the character of Ellie, I'll be honest. But the second season has felt very much like a really force-fed translation of the game into the show, but too quickly. So like for me, I'm not connecting with the characters the same way that I did in the game, and now it's going to be a 2-year wait until the next season comes to kind of complete, you know, the basically Abby's story, like her side or her perspective of events that have kind of led up to where we are now. So, but the thing that I think is the worst part for that is honestly, I don't think people are going to care enough. I honestly don't think, you know, in another 2 years, people are going to forget that this show even really happened. Like it's too long. I think they should have had it subsequently so that you could see the whole story play out and then just be done. Because I think a lot of people were like, you know, especially the people that didn't play the game, were like, why the hell did they kill Joel? Like he was one of the best characters. But in the game, that's really what sets the narrative forward. That's what gets at the events of everything moving. But I don't like that emotional catharsis is just not necessarily here. Once he died, it's like the show feels like it's fallen a little flat. So not surprised to see the decrease here, but you know, I know some of you out there really enjoyed it. My mom actually, she said she really liked it, but she never played the games, and so I was like, I think if you played the games, you might feel differently. Pete, you said you've seen a little bit of it, but you haven't had a chance to finish it yet. What have your thoughts been on it?
So I've seen 6 episodes out of, how many is it, 9, 10?
9, 9 episodes.
Yeah, so I'd be, I sort of watch it every other week around my mate's house, and then we're watching so I haven't finished Andor either, so you know, I'm kind of catching up with both of these shows at the moment. But I've just found it very. I really enjoyed the first season, and I played the first game many times over, so it was very familiar to me, and I kind of knew what to expect. I did play the second game, but I don't remember as much about it, other than the big reveal kind of thing, you know, with Joel and everything. I just found it very slow going, and I think it's very much feels like The Walking Dead when I kind of lost the love for that, where it moved away from the infected, the clickers, all that sort of thing, to just, it's been a very human story. Humans killing humans. Obviously, there's the big scene where they all came down over the hill and everything. Spoilers, but other than that, it's felt very much like a human drama. And it's not really grabbed me as much. And I'm the same with Bella Ramsey. I mean, I don't care what she looks like or anything, but I don't particularly like it. She's not she's not playing it very warm. And it's just like, she just comes across very annoying in the way that she delivers her lines, and you don't feel any. I'm kind of like, yeah, you know, I know you can't get bitten and die, but come on, someone sort this out. So yeah, I'm hoping that it, obviously, I mean, reading this, it might not do, but I'm hoping that kind of the last thing. And it's funny that, you know, obviously Joel's killed off in episode 2 or 3 or whatever, but he's not done, because there's like loads of flashbacks and stuff. So it's yeah, I'll finish it off. Yeah,
they've even teased, like, you know, Joel will be back in the third
season. Yeah, I know. Guys. So it's like, it's a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah, like, just do it and move on, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not in love with it, but obviously I will finish it probably next week, and then I'll kind of reflect on. So in terms of the third one, is that going to be all sort of new material, or did they leave anything from the second game?
It's really just from Abby's perspective, so you get a chance to, like, because the idea there is that, right, like Joel and Ellie in the first game and in the first season are the heroes of that show, right? Like you root for them, but like if you see it from the other perspective, like they're kind of like mass murderers. They're terrible people, really. It's just, there's just shades of gray, right? It depends on what side of the fence you're on. And so I think the show does that really well. And like you kind of referenced Walking Dead, I agree that it goes into the more of the human element, which in the games I did like, because it shows the degradation of our humanity in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, because it does some massive time jumps, doesn't it? Like 2 years, 5 years.
And that's exactly what would happen, right? Is that our, you know, groups of people would lose their humanity and become more animalistic in their approach. It'd be every man for himself, right? It depends what faction you're with and all of this. Like, that all does make sense, but I agree in the sense of, like, you know, Ellie in the games, and really supposed to be in the show, she's supposed to be the one that you root for most, right? Like, when you're playing the game, you can't wait to kill that doctor who's about to kill Ellie, because you love Ellie just as much as Joel does by the time you hit that moment, right? And throughout season, or like the game, the first game and even game 2, you root for Ellie that whole time, even though you know Abby's story and you kind of hate her too. Like you still root for Ellie because you love her. I don't find that Bella Ramsey's portrayal of Ellie is that lovable. So like I'm not rooting for her in the same way that I did in the game. So like it's a weird thing maybe, but
yeah, and I think, and I'm a bit the thought of going back and seeing it through someone else's eyes. I'm not a big fan of that either, because they did that in Lost. I think it was season 2 or 3, and I kind of lost, but that I did have to sort of fight through that because I knew all the events that had happened, and also I think they did it in Walking Dead as well. So I think they need to be careful, particularly if people haven't been, quite so keen on this season.
And there are characters in season 2 that they've kind of just introduced that, like, if you played the games, you're like, oh, I know who those people are. But the way that they've shown some of these characters in season 2, if I was new to the franchise, I'd be like, okay, sorry, who the hell are these people? And why? And sorry, why do I care? Like what? And the fact that we have to wait 2 more years to see the other half of the story just means that people died in the season and everything. That you're kind of like, oh, okay, well that was. Like, you don't have a connection to it that same way. And so I do think that it should have been I think it should have been done better, if I'm being honest. I hate to say it that way. Jim the Collector says, I think the writing for Ellie has been questionable as well. She's very different in this compared to the game. Very, very different. And some of the choices that she made in season 2, again, I don't want to spoil it, but some of the decisions that she made aren't in line with the game either. In the game, she makes a questionable decision that really determines her future character, like who she's going to be. And in the show, it's very much like a random happenstance. And so like there's things. So I don't want to spoil it too much. We won't go into it any further, guys. But let me know if in the comments or if you're watching our replay, did you enjoy The Last of Us season 2? Has it played flat for you guys? Are you looking forward to a 3rd season, or are you kind of just done with it? In my opinion, if you're gonna gonna take the 10+ hours a season to watch the show, if you can, get the game, play the game. It's a better story and a wonderful experience. One that's stuck with me for years, honestly, for years. Guys, we have almost 50 people watching live already in the first 20 minutes of the show. Thank you so much for being here and get nuts with us on Sunday, as always. We love you guys. If you don't mind hitting the like button, if you're enjoying it so far, I would appreciate that. Just gets it out to everybody else. Let's talk real quick about these guys, and then I want to move into Classy Thomas section here. But Harry Potter cast has been announced for the new HBO show. Here are the young kids portraying each actor. It's interesting because, I wouldn't say that I grew up with the Harry Potter films, but they were certainly part of like my young adulthood. I did read the books when I was really young, and I really enjoyed the books, which inspired me to then watch those those movies when they came out. It's hard for me to see anybody else play Harry Potter, especially other than Daniel Radcliffe, because to me, like, he is just the embodiment of Harry. But at the same time, how many Batmans have we had that we said, that's my Batman, until the next good Batman came, right? And some of these child actors seem really good. I saw some of the test footage for the Hermione actress, and her voice and her little personality and stuff really seems in line with kind of the wittiness of a Hermione. So I'm excited for that. I think the big thing that I want to shout out, and I think everybody in this chat and everybody watching on the panel will 100% echo this as well, but I think it's worth saying. These are kids, after all, right? There's been a lot of, prejudice, a lot of conflicting people feeling different ways, and like, especially with regards to Hermione, her being, an actress of color, right? Like, it blows me away how cruel the internet can be.
Yeah.
But these kids have thrown themselves in the fire. Absolutely, will it be career altering for them? 100%. But like, none of us, or most of us anyways at this age, did not ever have to go through the level of scrutiny that these kids will have to go through. So let's remember that they are definitely kids. But I'm curious for you guys, are you going to give the show a chance? Because for me, like, I'm kind of lukewarm on it. Like, I like Harry Potter, but I don't love Harry Potter. I didn't love what they did with the Lord of the Rings TV show on the Amazon Prime, but HBO usually hits pretty good. So, Michael, I'll start with you, buddy. Are you interested in the new Harry Potter show? Is this something that you guys will watch?
Probably not. Yeah, it came along too late for me, I think. Not that I couldn't get into it, I guess, if I, started watching any of the movies, but I haven't. And there's just so many more things now available to watch. A lot of things that I've yet to watch that I want to see. So I don't think I'd ever get around to it. But it's quite a huge IP franchise. And as I look at the cast of new characters here, I mean, I guess I can see what people are saying, because it's not really fair to put up to look at the contrast, but it is kind of stark. And I know what you're saying, Ben. It's like when you see Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, it's really hard to put somebody else in there. But yeah, I think we got to give these kids a chance and see see how they do. I mean, I won't be watching it, but I hope anybody else who enjoys Harry Potter, I hope this works out. I never want to see shows fail. I think I express my displeasure about a lot of things that are coming out these days, but I never want to see a show fail. I always want to see, because I want to have something to watch. So I hope this does work out, for those who are very much into it. Yeah.
And can still inspire new collectibles and like a whole new section of fandom, right? I mean, any kids that are growing up with this now, these new kids might be their Harry Potter and Ron and Hermione, right? Like very much so. So that's good. A good way to say it, Michael, I'd say, because I agree with you. There are certain films and franchises that come out and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that or not. But yeah, I'd never root for it to fail. Like at the very least, let's see how she goes. Even as I said, we were just talking about Last of Us, right? I'm like, oh god, I haven't really enjoyed that show, but I still hope that like they can come around in the third season and really wrap it up in a good way. What about you, Pete? Anything? What are your thoughts on Harry Potter?
I'm a big fan of the movies. Obviously, I was kind of in my 20s when the books and stuff came out, but I still read them, still enjoyed them. Enjoy the films. Really came to enjoy them through like my son growing up. So it's really good for kids to kind of get into and grow up with, because it's really magical. It's all obviously it spans every year. Every movie spans a year, but obviously you always get those nice Christmas scenes. It's something that's nice to. Shane will say that they watch them at Christmas and stuff. So I think it's one of those things where I think like, oh, it seems too soon, but the first movie was like 25 years ago. It just shows how quickly time moves on, and I think we've all been through this so many times with or who's the next Doctor Who, who's the next James Bond, who's the next Joker, like Heath Ledger, Batman. So we go through this over and over again, and obviously those people are adults, and they're in the industry, so they kind of they expect to take the rough with the smooth. I think for me, like Michael said, I don't want anything to fail. I think I'm quite interested with this. It's going to be a long ride because it's going to be a season for every school year, I believe. So it could be like 10 episodes per school year, which I think is great, because obviously then it gives the show room to breathe. And the early books were very thin, so we probably didn't lose that much. But obviously as the books got bigger and bigger as it went on, some of them too long, because I don't think anybody could tell J.K. Rowling that she needed to edit it down, but I think that we'll have an opportunity to kind of for it to breathe and to have some more, a lot more kind of stuff that would have been cut from the films. Dare I say it, more of the. I mean, the special effects will be amazing, because obviously we know what they've done with Game of Thrones and all that sort of stuff. 100%. I think I'm fine with these kids, and again, it's the same for all the actors as well. They're all completely different. We've all grown up with that kind of those English actors and actresses, which a lot of them have now passed. So we've now got kind of the next generation. I'm all for it. I mean, I think it's a good opportunity. I suppose the difference with I see what you mean about Rings of Power. I've really enjoyed Rings of Power, but obviously that's telling a different story, which is telling the same story as the movies, So a lot of it will be sort of familiar, but I think as long as they kind of give it its own take, go at it fresh, like all of the, don't try and make any of it look like before, make it completely different, Hogwarts, the creatures, and I think that will then hold people's interest. It won't feel like it's just a rehash of something that's gone on just to make, lots of money. I'm good with it. They're fiction. I mean, I sometimes have said maybe in the past that I have a little bit of an issue where people sort of mess with real history and cast people that would definitely not look anything like the historical character. But these are fantasy characters. They're made up. They're in a book. Don't care what they look like. They could be any race, any colour, any gender, if you like. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's telling a magical story. So good on them. I hope it goes well.
Well, I got a question. In the novels, or are there graphic novels that actually depict what Harry Potter actually looks like? So
they'll describe them. Like they'll describe Hermione with her wild hair. And obviously the Weasleys that got Ron on the end, his family, they're all ginger. They're all really ginger. That's their. So, and they've kept that.
Comic strips prior to this, comic strips or any kind of.
Not that I'm aware of.
No. So it's only the description in a book. Yeah. So,
Well, and the description of Hermione, for example, is dark, big wavy hair and dark eyes.
Yeah.
Well, that's then. I mean, then if that's the case, then. These kids are just as suited for the part. It would be one thing. You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if it was like Charlie Brown or something. The kid's head should be big.
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah. The image of what they look like. Yeah, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Take a liberty.
Yeah. Well, and I felt that way about Bella Ramsey, right? Because she's had a lot of scrutiny around how she looks and that she doesn't look enough like Ellie. But that's not the reason that I've disliked her character. I've disliked her character because of the way her character is being portrayed and the writing that surrounds her and the way it has to be acted as a result. Like, I don't care what she looks like. It's just I just don't love the character the way that I did in the game.
Yeah, it's her the way
the
that
writing.
And her acting.
Through. And her acting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on this, Valkyrie? Before we move on, buddy. Just curious for you.
I think this is a pretty cool thing to have new kids for next generation. Even though we saw them when they were kids, but eventually they grow up, and you gotta go with a younger cast again. It's kind of like what do you call it? That one Star Trek show where they go back when they were younger. Like Ethan Peck as Spock,
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed the younger version. I think it should be a fun thing as well. So I'm looking forward to this as also.
Well, and there's a lot of meat on the bone in the books. There's a lot of meat on the bone that didn't really get covered very well in the films. So if this gives, like Pete was saying, a bit more of an expanded universe, right?
Yeah.
Tell a little bit more of the story, and make things look a little different. Give it its own
I'll ask you this
feel,
though, Ben. What do you feel about the time it's going to take to make 7 seasons of this? How old they're going to be? Because obviously by the end of the last movie, these guys were in their 20s, and they're very barely able to hold on to they're still kids. They're at the end of their school year. But this could, if it's going to take, this could take 15 years to get 7 seasons out. And these guys are going to be
understand that. I don't
25.
Yeah,
yeah.
There used to be a time when there was 6 months in between seasons. Usually a show would start up in September and then end in spring. In the summer, they would have these variety shows that would take the place of those shows during the right. And then September, boom, new season. Now we're waiting 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
This next season of what's his face from Suicide Squad. Help me.
Peacemaker.
Right. We're going on. We're past 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty.
One of the few things left in DC that I found enjoyable, but I am I'm losing my excitement. I've already lost my excitement for it It's like, okay, I'm looking forward to seeing it again, but it's like, all right, well, I'll be seeing it again. But it takes too long in between seasons. It's ridiculous.
So I feel that they've almost got to just not stop filming. Just
I
film
think
the
I don't know
whole
what the
lot
I don't know what
in
the
one
schedule
block.
is, because they're gonna have to, because otherwise they're going to run up against even things like Stranger Things cast.
They've got to
right?
get
Like
it
the Stranger
done in
Things caster.
Yeah, they've got to try and get it done in 7 years, like real time, so that
because they're in school. It's
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
a
So
school.
so
It's not just like Harry Potter's life, you know.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and they're gonna grow up really fast too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
7 years will go by fast.
It will. It will. Vita, aka Her Geeky Side, says, that's exactly what I'm expecting. More detail, more storytelling from the character building. They couldn't fit it all in the movies. Thanks for the split book into the last.
Yeah.
Sorry, thanks for the last books being split into two movies. 100%. 100%.
yeah.
Gave it a little bit more meat on the bones. So. Guys, we have 50 folks watching live. Thank you for being here, getting nuts with us. Again, if you're just joining us, birthday day today. Thanks for being here with us. I am a little hungover, but I'm having a great time with the boys here and having a happy time seeing all you folks in the chat and hanging out with us. So thank you for being here, as always. Let's move in to our quick classy Thomas segment. So last week, most of you guys already know, we as collectors in a community found out that our good friend Thomas, or aka Classy Thomas, SpongeBob SquareBalls, some of you may have known him as well, had passed away at the end of April, and we didn't know. So Classy was kind of notorious for kind of popping in and out of our chats. You know, he'd take a couple weeks off here and there, and we wouldn't hear from him, and then he'd be back. You know, but you almost always saw him in other people's chats and watching the live streams. He'd been struggling with his health for a little while. I think you guys had seen him on some of my previous streams. The last stream he was on April 6th on this stream with me. And his voice was improving, but he'd had COVID and pneumonia at exactly the same time, which basically wiped his vocal cords out completely. So he was going back through speech therapy. And so, as I said, there was lots of gaps in our communication because he was getting better, obviously, right? And, you know, when we saw him last, you know, he even told us that, you know, one of his goals through speech therapy was to get back to being with his friends again, right? He just wanted to be with us, streaming and talking toys and all of that stuff. And then he passed about 20 days after our last conversation. So, you know, it was very hard for me. I took Wednesday off of work this past week because I was really struggling with the loss, if I'm being honest. You know, it really felt like losing a family member. You know, while we have, you know, 50 to 100 people watching us live now, when I started this show, Pete remembers this as well because you were with me in the beginning too.
Yeah.
You know, there were times where we were streaming to 6 or 7 people for 2 hours. Like, that was it. You know, nobody knew what the Ben Thomas Show was yet.
That's the hard graft years, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that did not matter to Classy Thomas. He said always, you know, that he was my Vince McMahon, that if we needed him, he would show up every time. And he always did. He was with me for over 40 episodes. We're now at episode 72 today. This is live show episode 72. He was with me for over 40 of those Let's Get Nuts shows. And we had many wonderful chats, either before the show or after the show. He and I, you know, traded figures a couple times. He just bought my Tobey Maguire Spider not that long ago. I got his TVA Loki standing there looking at me. So I love this man. I will miss him forever. And I wanted to let you guys know, everybody that's in our channel membership, and I'll skip to it there, but everybody that's in our channel membership, it was previously called the Tough Nut Crew. I have changed the name of the membership to the Classy Nuts, in memory of Mr. Classy Thomas here. You will always be remembered. The little sticker that you see here, the Ghost Thomas with the dog, that's something that Collecting Weekly, the YouTube channel, has created. It is a sticker giveaway that's being funded by, I think, Sith Scale collector, so Mr. Mike, or Mike's Adventure World, as we as well know him as well. So he's helping to fund that sticker for everybody. If you're interested in getting a Classy Thomas sticker, go over after the show to the Collecting Weekly Facebook page, where you can put your name in order to receive a Mr. Classy Thomas sticker. So I'll let you guys share your thoughts with Classy here, and then I've got a quick video clip that we'll play for him out of respect. So Pete, I know you wanted to say some words for Classy Thomas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, Love you, buddy. Miss you. Yeah, Classy. I can't remember. I was talking on the chat earlier. I was trying to find his first episode on here, and I don't know if that was that his first live stream.
Yeah, so his first live stream was with me, and then he went on to After Dark with the Collecting Weekly guys.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
shortly
So
after that.
I think yes, yeah, it was just a beautiful soul. Yeah, Classy was always like as SpongeBob SquareBalls. He was always in the chat. He was always interacting and everything. And obviously, he got chatting to you. And we just got your show off the road. You know, I think we got, you know, as a fellow CW family member, I felt very strongly that, you know, to be part of the launch and everything. And obviously, I was very grateful that you decided to do an afternoon show. That means that I could actually come on it without having to be up at 4 a.m. for CW. So, and through that, obviously, you know, I came to know and love Classy as a friend and a fellow streamer. And I think people said that they always looked forward to, if they saw that Classy was going to be on the stream, they always looked forward to it. My thought was that the guy had so much to say. I always thought if Thomas is on it, we're in for a long show here. Because he had so much enthusiasm, so much to say. If it was Star Wars, we'd be alright, because he didn't really get into Star Wars. But anything superheroes or stuff, he could just talk forever. Lovely guy, so kind, complimentary to everybody. Never had a bad word to say about anyone. He really lifted the show. He was a funny guy, and I think you're going to show your little reel after this. I think the bit that really got me was you could tell how much this community meant to him. That we were more than friends. We were his family. You know, the bit at the end where he says that his whole motivation for his speech therapy was to get back to streaming because he missed his friends, and that, you know, that choked me up, because I think you know, we really I'm proud of you know, what the community's done after his passing, but also to kind of welcome him in and bring him in and you know, it became what could have been a one-off or something to, you know, a very integral part of your show. And then on After Dark and everything, so he kind of, you know, was embraced in the CW family and everything. And yeah, when I heard the news, I was stunned. I mean, obviously, you know, we'd all been with him when he was unwell, and it was great to see him a few times on your show, even though he was like in hospital the first time, I think. But I think we all thought, yeah, he's going to get better. He's getting there. It's taken his time. He's going to be better. He's going to be back. So it was a real shock and really sad. And, you know, as you say, like I've had a few sort of friends of mine have lost their fathers and everything. So it was like a real, you know, it hit home as badly as those did. And then to read his obituary and all these things that you didn't know about him. Brilliant. And he was on, we had him on OFAC. I need to sort of go through and find what those were, but he loved the British sense of humour. He was always very complimentary to me and Ian. He said whenever, you know, if he's around, he'll join us, because obviously he'd retired from work, so he could kind of make our schedule. So if it was like early afternoon, he could be there. So you know, he did an incredibly awful British accent that sounded very much like Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins. But yeah, just a classy guy, and it was lovely to see that Zach had been in contact with his sisters, and they talked about his memories, and that they've been watching some of the old shows back, and like learning a bit more about his kind of, you know, his figure collecting and his hobbies and stuff, which perhaps they didn't you know so much about. So that's been really, really lovely, and the sticker's fantastic. Yeah, just really sad. But yeah, we'll miss you, Classy, and I cherish all the times that I was able to stream with you on Ben's show and on OFAC. So yeah, rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah, man. It definitely, for me, is a reminder to check in with your friends if you haven't chatted with them for a while. You know what I mean? If there's that one friend you just haven't reached out to in a bit, hug your family when you can, hug your friends when you can. You never know when you're going to have that last opportunity to chat. We're all busy people, right? I mean, often on Sunday shows, by the time the 2.5 hour show wraps, I'm like, I'm hungry, guys. I'm out of here. I love you guys. I'm out, and if I'd known, that would have been my last chat with Classy, I would have spent hours with the man in the back, just hanging out. And
so we never know. You never know. But
but one of the questions that I'd asked Classy one time in one of our warm-ups was, would you prefer immortality versus just long life? And he was like, absolutely not, because if you are immortal, then the concept of living every day to its fullest is just kind of out the window, right? Because you just know you're going to live forever. So,
and to watch everyone you love die,
exactly. And so he had great thoughts on that. So
yeah,
Michael or Valkyrie, did you guys have anything? I know you hadn't had a chance to stream with Classy as much, but obviously he's been in lots of chats of SpongeBob SquareBalls and all the things as well. Any final thoughts for him?
Well, I somebody's spirit when it comes through something like a TV or a radio, and it kind of touches you. Like what Pete was saying, anytime you knew Classy Thomas was going to be on, you kind of wanted to tune in just to see what he's going to say and do. But everything that he did came out of love, and a sweeter guy you could ever meet. And I was to the point where I was getting a little jealous because there were new folks coming into the community that had only been in the community for a couple of weeks, and I'm turning on streams and they're streaming with Classy Thomas. No, this
you got to earn that honor, haven't you?
Oh, I was getting real upset. I even think, Valky, didn't you stream with Classy?
I almost did. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Yeah.
Well, there's been a couple of newbies got the opportunity, but I tell you, the best moment for me in the community so far is I was on After Dark a couple of months ago, and Classy Thomas showed up out of nowhere and surprised everybody. I was like, "Oh my God!" I'm on. Timing was so perfect, I finally had a chance to meet him, if only once, but I had about an hour, on the show with her. And I was like, yes. And really, I think everybody thought he was coming back. Yeah. I even commented, I said, your voice is stronger. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unbelievable. But I understand the pain, Ben. I belong to two other communities. I belong to a community of vinyl collectors, and I also belong to a community because I'm a musician and DJ. So I belong to a community of musicians and DJs, and we lost two members of our community in less than a year. And one who I gotten very close to. As a matter of fact, I went back today and looked at a stream that I had done with her, 6 hours. And I said, I got to sit back and watch and see what we talked about. And man, I just welled up. So I mean, I really do understand what it's like, especially, somebody with such a great spirit and like they say, the good die young. It really is. Mm-hmm. Good really do die young. But yeah, may you rest in peace, Thomas. It was a pleasure to meet you and an honor to meet you. I only wish my heart was as full as yours. But yeah, you're gonna be sorely missed. Sorely missed.
Yeah. You never knew what you were gonna get with Classy. I will say so when I first met him, he was going by the moniker of SpongeBob SquareBalls. And he would say the naughtiest things sometimes, but in the sweetest way possible. So that's why I was always like, dude, how can you talk about vibrating sex toys in such a classy way, for example? We're gonna call you Classy Thomas, right? And and the fact that stuck and ended up really truly sticking like throughout the community. I thought was wonderful for him because he really thought it was funny when Leal from 1/6 Scale Man would say SpongeBob SquareBowls, and like really put emphasis on it. But it wasn't until I think he took over that moniker of Classy Thomas that he really became the YouTuber that we came to know.
Absolutely, it was like his rebirth. His online rebirth as he became a streamer. He joined the guys that he enjoyed watching. And that's always it's always lovely to do that for anybody, really, for people 100%.
Yep. Valkyrie, any final thoughts there, buddy? And then we'll play our clip for Classy.
Yes. So I mean, to be honest, like when I first started watching live streams, it was actually your show was the first one I started watching, and for me, seeing Classy Thomas there was always really nice to see him. He was always just really funny and everything. But later on, when I started live streaming on other channels, it was always nice for him because he always greeted me in the chat. And for me, it was like, sometimes, you're on a new channel for the first time and you're like, okay, you get a little bit nervous. And then you say, hi, Valkyrie Magnus. It always put me at ease.
Yeah.
But I did notice, though, the last few weeks, I stopped seeing it, and I was starting to get concerned. But, of course, we know what happened. But for me, this leaves a mark on me because, like, I was supposed to stream on one show with him, but I wasn't unable to in the last minute. And it kind of bothers me that I wasn't able to. But at least, I got to know him a little bit, conversed with him in the chats. And he was always just super friendly and always put me at ease when I first started streaming, so I'll always remember that about him.
Absolutely. I think the first stream I actually ever did with him, now that I think about it, Pete, was Pose Wars actually on Collective Weekly. That's how I met him, was through Pose Wars. And he was funny because every time he would do a pose, he would like tell the whole story behind the pose, not just be like, this is my pose, this is great. Like, no, it was like the whole well thought out story. We have another guest with us joining. We got Mr. Marco 1/6 Fix in the house with us. Good to see you, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey guys, good afternoon to some, good evening to others. Hey Ben, just wanted to pop in really quick to wish you a happy birthday and to tell a story about Thomas, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And thank you. Yeah, love that, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And sorry for the bad audio quality. I'm driving to a graduation. It's graduation season, so.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Just, the passing of Thomas, definitely affected all of us in the community, right? Whether we knew him really well or, just knew of SpongeBob SquareBalls. But Gigi and I did a show, and Thomas had reached out to me when we had never seen his face or really knew much about him, just knew he was SpongeBob SquareBalls, and said, hey, could I come on and, do an interview with you all? And we said, absolutely, the door was open to everyone. And he was just the most interesting guy. Like, we ended up, I was a little bit uncertain. I was like, what do we really know about him? He just ended up being so interesting. We talked for a long time and just really generous. He said, Gigi, you know what? Marco has so many figures that you need a figure of your own. So he sent Gigi a custom made figure that he, put together himself, and just really, such a nice thing to do that he definitely did not have to. So just we lost a really good one. Just wanted to say, rest in peace to Thomas, and appreciate you holding some space to remember him on this show.
Always. He will always be remembered on this show. He will live forever here with us in our hearts and memories. And dude, I forgot about that custom figure that he did for Gigi. That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
she still has it in her office.
What a guy, dude. What a guy. So let's play the clip of the clip set that I played for Thomas. I was gonna save this for the Sunday show this week, but because it all happened kind of on Wednesday, I did post it on the YouTube channel. So some of you guys have already obviously seen this, but I think we'll play it one final time here, just as a tribute to Mr. Classy Thomas. Let me mute this audio here real quick. Let's mute that. All right, buddy. Classy, we love you. This is for you, buddy.
I think that the thing that makes life precious is the fact that you know that one day it's going to end.
What would you want to be when you grow up, Thomas?
I mean, I was just happy to be here. I guess in going back, I always did. When I was a kid, I always liked to draw, and always liked doing creative things. So when you find something out of place in your studio or in your collecting room, then just know that I I've been there using the Force. Still claim that I am old enough to be your father, so Luke, instead of Luke, I'll say Ben.
I tried to darken up in the fishing. Happy to be your unofficial stepchild for sure, Classy
That's
Thomas.
right. Thomas is SpongeBob SquareBalls. Yes, I'm having such a good time going on other people's streams, and I'm like having some fun. Having some fun with the guys. So SpongeBob chicken, brother, I can cook. I get in that kitchen, stir some stuff up,
Love it.
shove it in my mouth.
Oh.
I'm all good. I would probably take neither and just take my own pills to stay alive.
Oh my god. Wow. Best answer of the panel.
Yes.
Thomas, you've earned your name once again.
Have I earned it?
You have.
Gotta keep it classy.
You did.
Oi, boy, oi, you know, the words that they say. I'm sorry. That wasn't very good, but you know,
Somebody needs to clip that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's the way she goes.
He's been lying to someone.
3 pounds and 8 ounces of nut. My God.
Tough
That's a lot. That's a lot of nut, man. It kept me from crossing over, Ben. You kept me from crossing over.
I'm glad to hear it, buddy. I'm glad to hear it.
Ben, I have told you time and time again, I'm your Ed McMahon. I will be your regular to give everybody some consistency, something to look forward to.
A little extra
You know,
classy in the house.
that's right. You know, see a little chill out and get a little fun stuff over here. So if you need me, like I said, I will be your Ed McMahon. It's the way I want to feel most of the days of my life. I want to feel happy and enjoy the fact that I'm here. I love the fact that people think I'm classy. That makes me feel good. Tempted to stream from the massage chair today because I was just too comfortable. One day I'm going to do that. I promise you.
I think I can speak for regular viewers that I am here for Classy Thomas in the massage chair.
How does it feel to be getting nuts again in 2025?
It feels good. I mean, what else are you gonna do on Sunday? But me and Coach, I'm ready to play. Joy to be back here with you all today. One of my goals through my speech therapy and physical therapy, as I said, I want to get back to streaming again. Miss my friends. So I was feeling really, really good today. So I'm gonna keep it classy as I can.
Shit gets me every time.
Yeah.
Love you,
last
Classy.
bit, yeah.
Love you, bud. We'll remember you forever. We'll remember you forever. In true Classy fashion, because he would not want us to be sad for the remainder of the show, I did keep the classiest news topic to the last year before we move into 6-scale news. So for you, Classy, this is for you. Sydney Sweeney is selling her bathwater in soap bars. And I think this is the most screwed up news I've seen in a really long time. And I'm sure Classy would have had something to say about this. But this is just wild. This is not the first time, some level of celebrity has done this, but
Dr.
Sydney has
Squatch.
decided to partner with Dr. Squatch and get a limited amount of bars out to people with her actual bathwater infused into it. So I thought this was wild news, and again, I wanted to just get back to a lighter note after seeing Classy there, but this is not something that I would buy, but you got to admit, it's kind of a smart business move. If people, think about it, I don't know how many bars they're selling, but, if these are 20
Is it just the one bath or
that's right.
many baths?
Yeah, that it's oh my God. So this is a kind of jokey news. We're not going to stick on this for very long, but this is wild to me. Did you guys hear about this news? Is this anything that you were like, that's the most ridiculous shit I've ever?
Yeah, I saw it pop up on my feeds. I mean, obviously, it's comes on the shoulders of the whole Gwyneth Paltrow vagina scented candle. I believe somebody's just released a vinyl, some band that is infused with that, so it's meant to smell like that as well. I mean, why not? I don't know why everyone's mental about Sydney Sweeney. I just hear her name all the time.
Same here.
And it's not really. I don't really see. I mean, she's an attractive young lady. She doesn't really not for me, but I know she's the talk of the town at the moment. So why not? Why not? I mean, people will buy it. It's a bit of a laugh. You might as well make your money where and how and whenever you can, because you never know when it's going to all end. So yeah, no, good for her. It's funny. Yeah.
It's too wild for me. Not something that I would invest my money
No,
in, but
no.
But to each their own, of course. Guys, let's say hi to the chat. We've got almost 60 people watching live, getting nuts with us here on Sunday. Thank you so much for being here, sticking around with us through the entertainment section and the warm-ups. We got lots of 6 scale that we're going to jump into now, so stick around for it. But, of course, without further ado, let's say hi to everybody first.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. We have King Dingling, channel member, in the chat with us here as well. Happy birthday, Ben. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Vita, aka Herky Side. Second comment of the day. That's pretty impressive. Thank you so much for being here, my friend, as always. Ron E, our newest channel member last week. Dude, thank you so much for being here. Sorry, I realize I don't think I've got you on our slide yet, so I apologize. I will get that done today, my friend. But thank you so much for being here. We got Mr. Mark P in the chat. What's up, everybody? What's good? Mr. Jim Collector. Love to see you here, buddy. Thanks for coming in, and the birthday wishes again as well. Valkyrie Magnus here with us in the panel as well and on the chat. Dude, thank you so much for being here. We got Saphira Cosplay in the chat with us. If you guys missed her appearance, she was on Let's Get Nuts, I think 2 shows ago now, talking a little bit about her cosplay, and I believe this weekend she's doing the Cherry Blossom Stormtrooper cosplay out in the wild. So maybe we'll get some photos of that from her later to see how that went for her. But good luck, my friend. Big Rip in the chat, as Dean would always say. Love to see you here, buddy. Thanks for being in the show. We got Mr. Thor Gaming, my brother here. Broski, happy born day. Dude, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Mr. Tim Harvey, happy birthday, my friend. Dude, thank you so much for that, too, and for being here, as always. Mr. Batman_Collectibles, happy birthday, Ben. Mine's Friday, not far from you. Hell yeah, June babies. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Jose Plus in the chat. Hey, everyone, happy to my friends. Oh, sorry, happy birthday to my friends Brick and Ben. Happy birthday to that Brick man as well. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Got to get Brick on the show here soon at some point. I know he's a busy guy. He's got like three little kids now, so he's a busy guy. But 12-inch Moose Stream here with us. As always, good to see you, buddy. He says, hello, community of collectors. Does anyone do back here? I think he just got his today. I think I saw him posting about it on Facebook. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Great figure.
Crazy. Clinton Martin here with us. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. We got Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro. Good to see you here, my friend. We got to get you in the show here very, very soon. Mr. Figure in a Bubble with us here in the chat and in the panel. Love to see it as well, buddy. Thanks for being here. Let's see. I want to make sure we don't miss anybody to the best of our ability. Thalia Meyer in the chat. Hello, everyone. Happy birthday, Ben. Thanks for being here, my friend. Always appreciate you. Damn it, Spock, my Star Trek brother. Good to see you here, as always. Let's see. I think that's almost everybody. Rachel Miller. Thanks for the very cool rug. I'll figure out how to get that on the closet door here later. Adrian Underwood, agree regarding comparison of with Walking Dead bogged down with the human element. Yeah, 100%. 100%. We got OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars with a hello, everyone. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see here. I actually banned somebody from the chat today. That's the first time I've had to do this.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. People trying to shit on fun, man. Come on. You hate to see it. You're out. Sith Scale Collector, good to see you here, buddy, as well. And big shout out to Mike, who's helping to fund the Classy Thomas sticker for everybody who wants one. So, dude, that's super generous. Yeah. Thank you for doing that for everybody. Definitely appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it. Mr. Musashi. Wow, I almost really messed that one up today. What's up, Anna Crew? Great to see you all. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. As always, we got Figure Poser in the chat. Good to see you as well. We got Geo, the movie canon. Hello, buddy. Good to see you. Geo was one of our giveaway members last week. Same with Michael. So of the $25. Now it's funny. I wanted to give a $25 gift card to Sideshow. That was the whole giveaway. And then here in Canada, I can't for some reason email gift cards out to people. It just won't let me do it because of where I live. So I ended up PayPaling $25 to these guys. So use it wherever you want, I guess. You could buy a bar of soap.
I'm glad it didn't.
How much is the soap? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've never won anything. You're the first stream I've won anything on. It's cool.
I've never won anything on any streams either, and I've been tuning into these things for like 10 years, I feel like. So it's weird, but that's awesome, man. I'm glad you won either way. I hope you can use it for something you like.
Appreciate it.
No worries. Michael Cooper in the chat with Guten Tag. Love to see it. Good to see you here, buddy. We got Many Fresh 369. What's up, guys? Good to see you, buddy. We got Yomo in the chat as well. Good to see you, bud. Gary Grails with a rest in peace, Thomas. Thank you for that, my friend. Appreciate you. Akira in the chat. Rest in peace, Thomas. What a gentleman. We got Honest Hansel in the chat as well, channel member. Classy was always trying to get my King Shark. Yeah, he was pissed that he didn't win that. What a guy. King Dingaling. Good to see you, buddy, as well. I Am Vengeance is with us as well. Love to see that. Adrian Underwood. Respect Ben. Nice tribute. Thank you for tuning into that. Even if you guys had already seen it, I appreciate you watching that with us again. 16 Lovers. Hi, guys. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here as well. I think that is everybody. If I missed you, please shout it out. As I mentioned to you guys earlier here as well, I have renamed the Tough Nut Crew membership the Classy Nuts. I'll put the link in the chat here as well soon if you guys want to join the membership. We do have SpongeBob SquareBalls up at the top now. He's now an honorary legendary member, so he's got his little photo in with him as well. So hope you guys don't mind the change. I think it helps to respect him. If you guys are interested, these are our channel badges that will come up beside your name as you progress through the years, as well as some channel emojis. I have actually added a SpongeBob one in there as well. So if you want to pay any respects and you are part of the channel membership, you can put SpongeBob SquareBalls, his little icon in the chat there as well. Starting today. Guys, let's move on here to some 6-scale news. So, Sideshow, in combination with Hot Toys, has posted this. Coming soon, The Last of Us collectibles. Now, they haven't really said what. They haven't also specified here if this is Season 1 or Season 2 or just a broad stroke. So, I'm going to assume this means we're at least going to get a Joel. Obviously, Hot Toys has invested already in that Pedro Pascal head sculpt for the Mandalorian figure. So, we know they've got his rights already. I'd be curious to see if they do much more. Maybe a clicker. Like, I feel like they have to give us Ellie because Ellie is such a critical part of the game, but not a lot of people seem to love Ellie or Bella Ramsey as Ellie. So, like, I don't know, like, would anybody actually collect her? Like, could you get a Joel without an Ellie, like, figure-wise? Like, I don't know if I would do that. And to be honest with you, you know, it sucks to me that they're specifying this as HBO, because if they were going to go into the collectibles, I would have loved to see what Lim Toys did, which was the game representations as well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it looks like it's just the HBO show. If they do a Joel, I don't think I would get it still. Honestly, like, as much as I like Pedro Pascal, like, I just haven't felt as connected to him. So this is probably a skip for me unless it just absolutely blows me out of the freaking water. But Pete, since you've seen some of the show, at least the first season and some of the second, would a Hot Toy representation be coming home?
No, absolutely no interest whatsoever. I've even if I love the show, I think I've spoken here before. I think that I don't really collect anything from TV shows because I feel like they don't hold up. Not hold up, but like, movies get into my soul, into my heart, and I can't let them go. And I kind of they permeate through my life, like Star Wars, indie, 80s stuff. There's not really any TV show that I like. I can look back and go, I really enjoyed Game of Thrones, but I don't want any figures from it. I don't want Breaking Bad figures and stuff. So for me, even if it was something I absolutely loved, I probably wouldn't collect from it anyway. And the fact that I'm kind of a little bit disenfranchised from the series now, I'm not really interested. I did actually own the Lim Toys ones once, just because I think I was curious just to see, and they were nice figures, and and like all the stuff they come with, all the tools and the weapons and stuff is all really good. But again, I sort of had them for a couple of months, and I was like, they're not doing anything for me. Again, they're just people in civilian clothes. They're not like the classic sort of outfits and stuff from movies that I love. So it's always good to see like Hot Toys branching out and stuff, and I'll be very interested to see how they look. But I don't have any interest in adding them to my collection now.
That's fair. And like Michael, I would say, to Pete's point, I agree that nostalgia really needs to hit for me. That weight of something needs to sit in my heart a little bit for me to want to like physically spend money to get it in the collection. But you also have to imagine that, this is Hot Toys likely banking on the fact that The Last of Us was going to continue in its popularity. Yeah. Because they have to start developing this way before they tease it, right? Like they need to know that they're in the slot, that they're going to be making something for months, I'm sure, if not longer. Than before we even know about it, right? And so the fact that the show, Michael, now is on the decline into, for a lot of people anyways, how do you think this line is going to do for Hot Toys, and is this something that would interest you?
Well, if you get outside the bubble, you'll know that this show has not done well at all. And I hear that, I'm talking about diehard fans. There's probably as many diehard fans that said that this show is very close to the books as there are fans that are saying, no, this doesn't compare. So I'm not a fan of it at all. So I really wouldn't know how to gauge it myself. But I do have a question for you. What makes you think that these are going to be 6-scale articulated figures?
Also true. I mean, honestly, more of the fact that it's Hot Toys. I think like Hot Toys for me are usually 1/6 scale, but you're right. They could be quarter scale, could be even cause babies, right? Like there's a couple of different options. There is no real necessarily an indication that it's 6 scale.
The reason why I say that is because they've collaborated. I believe it was a collaboration of the two of them before, and they came out with a figure of Wolverine in the tank, tubes coming out of him, and he's in a tank, but it's a solid, stagnant figure statue. But when it was first talked about, they referred to it as a figure.
Oh, okay.
So that's the point. I'm just wondering, like. Yeah. Because wouldn't Hot Toys just go? Why does Hot Toys need to collaborate with Sideshow just to make 6 scales? They always make them anyway.
Yeah, I mean the RSVP here I do see is also calling out a premium format. So
and that's what they call that Wolverine statue.
Yeah. So it might be more of a statue. You might 100% be right.
It could very well be the figures too, but there is room for speculation here.
Definitely. No, definitely. That's a really, really good call. I forgot about that Wolverine in the tank from all those years ago. That's a long time ago now. But
just before, it was around just before COVID, I think.
Yeah, a couple of years.
4 or 5 years. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like I think like if it was like a cool like set of clickers or something as well, right? Like there's other things that they could show that I might be like, okay, that could be cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to write it off entirely. I don't think I own any premium format. I'm trying to imagine what kind of that. Like again, like it's kind of a mid-style statue scale. I think for the most part.
Quarter scale normally. That's what size used to call premium. Yeah, I've got the.
Yeah, so it'll be curious.
Yeah.
Be curious to see. Valkyrie, any thoughts here on The Last of Us? Obviously, the dip in some of the people's interest for the show, for sure, like Michael said. How do you think this could do, depending on what it is, I suppose?
Not sure, but I think that most people who are real strong fans will probably still buy this. I mean, honestly, I haven't watched the show, but I'm actually still in. I actually, this is like something I'm on my list of things to catch up on, maybe even binge watch. But also, I might be interested in maybe a what do you call it? Like a Pedro Pascal in civilian clothes, just because Fantastic Four is coming out, so this could be kind of like something that could fit in there, saying, "Oh, this is civilian Reed Richards," and then get the ones in the Fantastic Four outfit too. So that should.
We know they're coming. I'll be interested in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, same. I'm really excited to see how they do the stretchability, right? Like, they're gonna give them pre-stretched arms.
Like the One Piece, guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch Pedro Pascal.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, honestly, it's almost the downfall, right? It's become a bit of a joke that Pedro Pascal feels like in everything.
Yeah.
Like you could actually interchange a head sculpt if it does end up being 6 scale. So, but I would say that what I've noticed, at least from the community, the resounding take on seeing this slide go up, most people felt like this.
How about new?
So let's see how it does, at the very least. Let's see how she does. Let's move on. Mars Toys last week teased just a single image of Bane here. Or what are they calling him here? The Poison Destroyer. Love to see it. This actually looks pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie. Okay.
It does look
Batman,
kind of neat. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And like Batman and Robin is by far not the greatest Batman flick by any stretch, let's be honest. But I did love the characters in the movie still, especially when I was younger, right? Like I've got the Hot Toys Mr. Freeze coming. I've got the George Clooney Batman coming. Jazz Inc. has teased the Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman. And you can't have Poison Ivy without her backup being Bane, in my opinion. And I feel like this is a perfect Mars Toys offering. It even has specialized muscular arms, the seamless version that you can swap in and out. So I think that looks really good. And to be honest, overall, it looks exactly like what I would expect this version of Bane to look like for the most part. So if the price point is decent, I'm going to 100% pick this up. I did not expect to ever have the opportunity. I mean, they're not showing much with him, but he doesn't have that much extra. I think the only maybe additional accessory I would like to see is like his trench coat and hat. Because in one of the scenes, Poison Ivy gets him all disguised. But again, I think the price point for what it's going to come in at, likely somewhere in that neighborhood of what we've seen from other Mars Toys offerings, I think should be pretty cool. So I am excited to see it. Valkyrie, any thoughts on a Bane here from Mars Toys? Did you like those old original Joel Schumacher Batmans, or how did you feel about that back in the day?
So I was a little bit older. I just graduated from college when this came out, and for me, I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm watching this!" Right? But later on in the years, you can just look at it, the campiness, and you kind of just have to laugh and appreciate it now. So for me, I actually, at first I was like, "No, I'm not going to get this," but now I'm rethinking it. Because this is more like comic book Bane rather than like the one for the Dark Knight. Even though I love that one, the comic book Bane has like some, it's like that's how he really came from. That's how he has all that the Venom formula going in him, making him big and strong. So I think I might pick this up, and if I do that, they have to make. They're making a Robin. And they'll have to make a Batgirl to Alicia Silverstone Batgirl too.
Yeah, because that's the one that hasn't been shown yet, right? Or even really teased yet. So, and she's honestly still a pretty notable part of that film. I mean, the suit up scene alone was wild back in the day. The quick zoom in butt shot, you'll love to see it. So, my biggest chief complaint with this Bane, honestly, was that like while he does look a little bit similar to his comic counterpart. In terms of the character, is just a hollow version, right? I mean, he's just like a meathead. He's just a criminal. He's not anybody. Whereas in the comics, he's like super smart, right? Like rivals Batman on that ability of like kind of intelligence and stuff and cunningness and stuff. So when they first showed us this Bane in that movie back in the day, I was like, that's not Bane, right? But it was still fun. Bane, how he says it. So love to see it. Michael, any feels on Mars Toys so far as a company? I'll be honest, Michael, I feel like Mars Toys has really been out of the spotlight for the last couple of months. Like they were on fire last year, and then
where's my chocolate man?
Radio silence. Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%. What are your thoughts?
I've been expressing this on Collector's Figure, Mars and So-So. So-So Toys right now is my favorite company, behind probably TV. I actually usually prefer comic book versions of characters. And in actuality, I think I prefer the movie version look of Bane over this, although I do like it. it has a very good, comic book feel to it. But if I were to get a Bane, I think I would get, something closer to the Dark Knight version of it. But still, I mean, Mars Toys, their stuff looks really good. You can't deny it. I mean, it looks really good. I haven't gotten anything by them yet, but I have someone working on getting that first Joker, Cesar Romero. It's not totally out of sight yet, but no, I think it looks really cool. Probably won't get it, but enjoy whoever does.
100%. I was just taking a look at some reference photos here. They could almost beef him up just a little bit. It looks like maybe on the figure side, because he's pretty freaking big. Like he's like bodybuilder. So look at that.
Oh, definitely.
Right. So like when I'm taking a look at this, it's like, yeah, they should actually beef this up just a little bit. I still think he looks pretty freaking awesome, but
right. His torso is wider too. He should have a wider.
Really wide. Yeah, really wide. Like that is wild. That is wild. So I'm excited, but I agree. Mars Toys needs to get their stuff out. So Toys was kind of the same way for me for a long time. I had a sample So Toys, and it was just like, are they ever even going to come? What the hell are they doing? And so and the quality on Mars has been intermittent. Like you guys said, the Cesar Romero Joker was one of the best figures I've ever seen in terms of third-party offerings. And then there are other figures like Mr. Enigma or the Riddler figure, which is like good. He's a good figure, but I wouldn't call him. He's definitely doesn't have that same supreme likeness like that Cesar Romero did. Like they're not even close. To the point where I'm like, I kind of hope another company does another Riddler at some point, just so I can swap that guy out. So, but for Bane, I don't think I would like. He's going to be a background character to like a Poison Ivy. If Yost gives us Poison Ivy down the line, I think I'll get her.
Especially if you have other characters from the movie.
100%.
It only makes sense. I think it looks really good in that respect. Yeah,
absolutely. Manny Fresh says Vader R.I.P. Greatest big man wrestler. Sting versus Vader, the best. Sorry, I don't know who this is referencing specifically. Is that the actor that played this?
Shimmy's the actor that played Bane.
Yeah, I think probably. So no, I'm not familiar with that, though. I didn't know that. But guys, let's move on. Let us know, though, in the chat or if you're watching on replay, are you guys going to pick up Mars Toys Bane? And what do you envision the collection to look like for a Batman and Robin film? You know, that movie gets notoriously raked over the coals. But then people seem to be kind of excited about some of the collectibles still. It's interesting how that can happen. So let us know what your thoughts are on Bane here. Let's move on. Yelena Belova is here, one of the first of the Thunderbolts characters to be announced. Now, we'd seen a couple of teases, obviously, of Thunderbolts characters coming. That one tease very specifically from Hot Toys a couple weeks back that showed the torsos of the majority of the cast. One notable exception in that photo was the, I call him Discount Captain America, but the U.S. Secret Agent. He wasn't in that photo, and I know for a lot of people was actually a pretty standout performance in the movie Thunderbolts. So people were a little bit disappointed to not see them or him in that first slide. For me, I would say that Yelena and Red Guardian were my two favorites of the film. If I were going to collect any of the Thunderbolts, it would likely be those two. And I would still probably pair those two with Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, just to have kind of the family together, not necessarily a representation of any specific movie. But I really liked Yelena. I thought she was an absolute badass. For me, at first when I looked at the figure, I thought that looks a little soft. Then I compared it to a couple different photos while I was doing my Ben Thomas Show video on it. And I was like, you know what? I actually think it looks better once I compared it to real life photos than I was actually initially feeling. And so I do feel pretty good about it. I think that there is some tweaking that can be done. I honestly think if they just thicken up her eyebrows a little bit even, she'll look just a little bit more like Florence Pugh, who is just an awesome actress and did a great job in the film. I really want this either way. The original figure that came out of Yelena from the Black Widow film, she looked a little soft as well. And then I know a lot of collectors, once they got her in hand, they were like, no, this is actually a pretty freaking awesome figure. And so I have a feeling this may be kind of within that vein. But I'd be curious from you, Pete, have you had a chance to see the Thunderbolts film by chance? And or what are your thoughts just on Yelena in general? Obviously, she's had a couple of appearances in the MCU.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen the movie. I've heard good things about it, and I did enjoy her character and Red Guardian in the Black Widow movie. Yeah, I think some of these photos here don't make it look very good at all. The one on the right looks better than the others. Again, I mean, even if when I see the movie, if I loved it, I just don't. I mean, the outfit just doesn't. It's quite boring. It's a coverall, a boiler suit, whatever you want to call it, with the people. So I don't think, for me, it's not visually arresting enough to go. Yeah, I really want that on my shelf. No matter how much I love the movie, I think Red Guardian would be a cool character because it's quite a distinctive outfit, and he's a little bit porky, pudgy, a bit older. So, and they'd probably do a really good head sculpt for David Harbour. But yeah, no, I think for me, I mean, I kind of got out of Marvel collecting a while ago, apart from my Spider-Man stuff. And if I ever was to get back into Marvel, of course, she looks about 70 on that picture on the left. That's not a good picture.
She's just dirtied up, yeah.
Yeah. If I ever went back to it, it would only be the core, Thor, Iron Man, Cap kind of thing. So I wouldn't ever see myself collecting sort of this far down the chain. It looks okay, but yeah, not for me.
For sure. And then for me, Michael, I would have liked to see maybe a different hairstyle. I also kind of joke a little bit in my review video on this figure, or preview video, is that she doesn't come with very much. Like, the price point is still kind of at that standard price point now that we see, but I would have loved to see maybe a slightly different expression. Like, she's fighting a lot through the film, and this is a very, like, I'm bored waiting for my coffee in line kind of expression from her. And it doesn't, for me, I think the miss here is that it doesn't translate her character very well. She's super sassy and witty and quick on her feet with her humor and her sass, and like that just doesn't come through this sculpt for me at all. She just, again, looks a little bored. But Michael, I also had said that, at that standard price point, that Hot Toys even recognizes it as kind of a standard release, because they keep showing things like the boots, for example, in the slide here, where it's like, that's a part of the figure. I don't think that's really an accessory. But what were your thoughts on Yelena when she popped up this last week, good sir?
Yeah, and people wonder why I give Hot Toys such a hard time. I agree with Pete 1,000,000,000%. It's just, and actually, I like the first version of her in the white suit from the other movie far more than I like this.
Yeah,
because that really pops out. And also, I'm with him on the sculpt. Now, the other picture you had, the one on the right, super close. But almost every other angle, I'm like, I don't see her. Or at least I'm not seeing a good enough. Once again, it's one of those things, okay, once you get it out of the box and you got it in front of you and all of that stuff. So we all know that. But just on this alone, not crazy about it. The hair is horrible. It looks fake. It looks doll. I mean, that's one of the worst sculpts I think they've ever done. It's I don't like it at all. I don't like this representation. I think she's incredibly attractive. And I just don't like this representation of her at all.
For sure. Fad Gadget says her roots down the middle need to be a little darker. Totally agree. I don't hate the sculpting, Michael, but I agree in the sense of like it's very plasticky looking. Like it just needs a little bit more depth, maybe some more color in there, kind of like they were saying in the roots, right? Like they could just do a little bit more with it, because I'm still happy at this point that it is sculpted versus rooted. I was starting to get kind of sick of all of like the rooted hair release options. I don't want to be having to style every figure that I have in terms of their hairstyle. Like it is nice to be able to just plug and play. But on the same respect, obviously, if you had her next to maybe one of your rooted hair
they've done far better job at sculpting hair before. I mean, and they'll probably come out with something tomorrow though.
Yeah, the hair on that Scarlet Witch, I think, is
This
really
one
good.
right here?
The sculpted one, the one that's just come out.
Yeah. But this right here, that's come on. You got to put some wash to it or something. I don't know, but it just looks too flat and toyish.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's fair. And it's, Valkyrie, it's interesting because Pete brought up a good point too, that like the outfit's just a little on the boring side, but unfortunately, like that's just the design from the Marvel film. There's not much that Hot Toys can really obviously do with that. But I would still say that even some of the tailoring here could have been, tightened just a little bit. The suit was a little bit tighter in the film for sure. Her traps were not nearly as large. Like there's some tweaks. For me, this figure of Valkyrie is close, but not quite the cigar that I was looking for quite yet. I think that there's some opportunity for some improvement. What are your thoughts when you saw this figure pop up?
A few things, because I remember when Supergirl first came out, she had that big blocky forehead, and we called her Neanderthal Supergirl back then.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
it was like
Are you talking about the one from the Flash movie?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that was a guy. That was a guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I mean,
That
like
was
it was like
horrible.
a few weeks before it came out to be sold. Suddenly, it was refreshed and it sold out really fast, and I was able to get one. So I thought that was fun. I'm like thinking, like, well, we'll give it some time, we'll see. But I just want to share one last little story. So when I was a kid, I actually did play for the Thunderbolts.
Nice.
And my daughter went on that same team, and she played goalie for the Thunderbolts. So when I saw this was like, give me all the good feels. So if they fix this,
That's cool.
I'll probably buy one for my daughter just because of that.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I would say for me, I think I am going to buy this. I never got the original Yelena. I've really liked her. Honestly, I just like Florence Pugh as an actress. Virtually everything I've seen her in. Midsommar was one that was a really good one. I watched another one. I can't remember what the heck it was called now, but it was a really cool movie too with her. Like she's a really good actress. So I think just having her as a representation in the collection would be cool. I hope that eventually she goes around to some of the Comic-Cons and stuff because I like going to those to get signatures and stuff. It'd be cool to meet her, I think, at some point if she ever did.
Don't you think she works better if you get her as a part of a line as opposed to just? I can't imagine just getting her and setting her up on, it'd be something if she had a more elaborate outfit, but just to buy her by herself, like Peter's saying, is just kind of bland. It's kind of.
Yeah, that's why I think for me, like I'm gonna get her in the hopes that they at least give us Red Guardian. But if they didn't, I would at least put her then with my Black Widow. Even though they're not in the same film this time, like from this representation, at least they're like the sisters. I think that could be a cool pairing in terms of a display.
Well, when you're looking at your own displays, you can be your own multiverse. You can put any
100%.
character where you want them. That's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
You make a great point there. She can always accompany any other figures.
Sure. Even even like a Winter Soldier. Like I know a lot of people got the artisan Winter Soldier coming again, not from the same film, but could still pair them together either way, right, and stuff like that. So
she is what you call she's what you call a utility player.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you though. Like just a standalone on the shelf, it would be a little bit boring. I think in terms of just because I've got figures behind me that stand alone. But they are very much the main character, right? Like so
I think
she was arguably the main character maybe of this film, but not quite to that same.
I think I'm with Michael. I think I would go with the white suit because it's so different.
That one pops.
That was really stands out. And I think I was always like when I was collecting Marvel, I was very much like that. I just picked the best version of the one. So I just bought the Iron Man that I liked. The Cap I liked. I didn't care that they weren't ever in that one single movie in those exact looks. I think you can pick and choose, and so I've got the Avengers here, but they're the versions that you like the look of,
Oh, somebody gonna say something? Sorry, I paused because I thought you were gonna say something. All good. No, 100%. Let's give a quick shout out to Mr. Brother Cousins Toy Reviews. What's up, family? Hope everyone is doing well. You too, buddy. Good. Thank you for being here. As always, we got to get you on Let's Get Nuts. I know we keep saying this back and forth. I go and tune into his Thursday stream, and he's like, when are you going to come on? And I'm like, when are you going to? So we got to figure it out, man. We'll get it started out here at some point. So, but dude, thanks for being here, as always, for sure. I saw a quick question here from the chat. Time asks, chat, some advice. The RoboCop and Murphy 2-pack for $380, good deal? I would say yes from everything that I know about that. I mean, that breaks that down to
$380, absolutely.
Yeah, like that's so almost too good. Like, make sure that it's not broken. Get lots of reference photos. See if that seller has any references within the community. You know, you can always put them up to say, hey, has anybody ever bought from this person specifically? Always a good thing to just kind of vet that a little bit, because that almost seems too good. So just be careful.
Yeah, I think that's probably going rate for that is about $700. So yeah,
you would think.
So like. Yeah, so either something, or there's somebody doesn't know what they have, or there's something going on with that. So just double check it. Just cover your butts. And if you're ever asking a collector for photos, I know sometimes it can be annoying to be asked for a couple different photos and stuff, but if they're unwilling to share it, then don't buy it.
Missing one closed hand, snap it up, go and get it now. And you could look at it as well. So before you buy it. Yeah.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Then
Get
they
it.
just clearly don't know what they don't know.
I've got both. I've got that, and they're amazing. Love them. They stand up. That battle damage, the full face sculpt of Peter Weller is still one of Hot Toys' best evers in my opinion. It's fantastic.
I shouldn't say I almost got scammed. I almost scammed myself the other day. I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and there was a Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, like just loose in the thing for $160.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit! I was like, is that the figure,
the original
like the Hot
one,
Toys
the
figure?
first one, yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it looks like a little off. So I start pulling up some reference photos, and it turns out it's like a complete like third-party company that made this. Like,
it was like Crazy
Suicide
Toys,
Squad,
something like that.
Crazy Toys, yeah. Not the same. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't go too excited, because I've been looking for that figure. I've wanted her for a really long time, and she's just too expensive every time I've ever seen it, or just not available. So. But guys, let us know if you're getting Yelena. What would you pair her with in terms of a figure display, like Michael was saying? Let us know. Let us know for sure. Michael, do you have a final thought there, buddy, before we move on?
Obviously, you weren't too high when you went shopping that day.
Not too. No, I was good. Only one joint that day. No worries.
You're cognitive enough to go, oh, no, that doesn't look right.
I was like, what else? And again, sometimes if a deal seems too good to be true, sometimes it is. Right? So ask questions at the very least before you buy. I don't know. I think I told you guys this story, but I got if you can see it here, I've got a Link sword behind me here now. A Master Sword. Okay. I thought I got scammed on that, because I recently bought it online. Was all excited about it. Spent like $500 to get the thing. You know, it's a battle-ready, sharpened edge sword. It's got some weight to it and everything. Spent the money on it. Thought about it the next day. Like, I didn't really look up any reviews of the company. Pulled up all the reviews, and it's like everybody was like, "This is a scam." Everybody. And I was like, "God damn it!" So I canceled my credit card. I called the bank. Hey, I clearly got scammed on this. I don't think this is going to come. I emailed the company to be like, hey, please cancel the order. You know, didn't get a response back from the company for about 10 days. They finally got back to me to be like, oh, sorry, our CEO died, so we've been very delayed in getting back to anybody, but still didn't attempt any cancellation or anything. So the bank ended up refunding me my money, which was really great. And then out of nowhere, I got a UPS notification last week for this sword, and it showed up. And so I ended up getting my money back for it and still got the sword. Now I can understand why people say it's a scam, because like the hilt doesn't line up with the thing that you stick it into. Like, I mean, like, it's not the best quality, but it still feels like I've got a Master Sword behind me. So I got scammed, but I still ended up benefiting from it.
You had a massive result. I think they got scammed, Ben.
Yeah, I think so, right? So.
Actually, didn't you get it for free?
Well, yeah, I basically got it for free as a result, because, as I said,
you weren't scammed at all, pal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and now then I kind of felt bad, right? Because I was like, oh well, like maybe I shouldn't have canceled it. Like, I reported them a scam right away, but again, I had no communication. They never responded to my cancellation request. Like, none of it. So it's just kind of like, well, I guess I just have this thing now, and it's. I wouldn't bring it into battle with me, but if there's a zombie apocalypse, I might be able to hold off some zombies. Valkyrie Magnus, dude.
Never take responsibility for their bad karma.
Fair. That's fair, right? I tried. I did try to do it the right way first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Valkyrie Magnus with an extremely generous 1999, dude. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Ben Thomas. Dude, thank you so much for that, man. Anything, whenever I get super chats or anything like that, it immediately goes back, of course, into the channel for bigger giveaways and stuff like that. So, dude, that's very generous. That gets us that much closer to our next giveaway for the channel members. I love you, buddy. This is for you. Because I mean, this is a very generous amount. So this is for you, buddy.
You don't understand. One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another cent.
Never need another cent. Thanks, man. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank Valkyrie in advance, just in case I win the next one.
There you go. That's right.
You're welcome.
That's right. The worst part about the American exchange for me is like a $25 American exchange is closer to $40 when I get it all the way through the system. So it's just like it's the money system nowadays. Like our conversion rate here in Canada is freaking terrible. So, but that's my problem, not yours. I'm glad you guys got to win from it. So let's move on here. We got Scarlet Witch Artisan popped up finally. I know people have been really anticipating this figure, and you know, Artisan has been kind of a hot topic for a lot of people in the collecting community lately because, you know, I think some of us are starting to get a little sick of having rooted hair figures. I know I'm definitely sick of the limited item queues. You know, you can either, you know, you might get it, you might not. I missed out on the Winter Soldier. That was the one that I really, really wanted from Artisan, and I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it to it in time. But I know a lot of people were waiting on this one. This one feels like it took a really long time to get here. And I'll be honest, like, I definitely see her, like, you know, like the Scarlet Witch, I see her face in there. Like, I definitely do. I don't think it's a bad sculpt, necessarily by any stretch. The prototype on the right versus the final on the left is a pretty stark difference, though. The paint applications, with the makeup's applied, the shape of the face is very different, and obviously, very notably, the hairstyle is quite a bit different. Like the proto on the left there and the, again, final on the right on this photo, quite a bit different. Now,
yeah, but I feel that it got really a lot better.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to ask you guys, because in some ways, I thought the prototype wasn't good enough. I do think that the face likeness is more appropriate with the final. It's more slender, more akin to her actual look. But I know that the hair, people are like, well, the hair looks weird. It looks kind of flat and kind of not as good, and the ringlets don't look as good. So I was curious what you guys had to say about it, because for me, I felt very, like, kind of just lukewarm on this. I've got the Multiverse of Madness Scarlet Witch, and I freaking love that figure. She's an absolute badass in the display. So for me, I'm good with her. But you know, again, people who are collecting these Artisan lines specifically, and or just the fact if you really like the rooted hair look, you know, how did this turn out for you guys? What do you think? What do you think, Pete?
I think facially it's a lot better. I think I don't even remember seeing that proto, because I would have gone, who's that? It looks more like Scarlett Johansson, I'd say, than you know, Elizabeth Olsen. Her eyes is a big part of it. Like, she has got really sort of big eyes. So I think the face sculpt is great. I don't like the hair at all, and there's two reasons. Can you flick back to the picture before that? Go back to, I think, the first one you had. Yeah, what's going on with that? The next one, the one with her on her own. This one here. Look at that hair. So it's got like a weird sort of dent in the back. And I can't really work out. I don't think it has. I think it's the lighting that it makes it look really dark. I think it is just the, but it looks odd. But if you can go to another one with the where you can see the hair a bit better. I hate the fact that this, like, the it's like they've curled it up. It's really weird. I don't think they've done them, you know, even worse. Like the hair looks better. You know, I think they've done a good job on that. I mean, obviously it will affect articulation of the head, because it's a big long piece. But I saw the sculpted one. I thought, that's fantastic. This one, yeah, face sculpt, brilliant. But the hair, I'm sure you could restyle it, but obviously a lot of people feel like, I've paid however much, $400, $500 for this. I shouldn't expect to have to restyle the hair. And it is a little bit scary when you do it, because you think, when you first do it, like when you talk about like your cross stitch or your thing, for a long while it looks dreadful. I did it with Aragorn, the in-art, and it was like, oh shit, what have I done? But when you then get some product in and you style it, you can make it look a lot better. But I mean, obviously, I accept that a lot of people don't want to do that and don't feel they should have to. So it's just weird that it's kind of. I think if you could kind of uncurl those front bits, it might look alright. But again, the outfit doesn't do anything for me. It's not visually striking enough to go. Yeah, I really like her as an actress. I like her character. But yeah, I don't. Even if I was big time back into Marvel, I don't think I'd be racing to pick this up.
Chasing it. And Pete, I've heard some speculation that maybe the hair is so curled initially because slowly over time those curls will relax a little bit and it'll be then ultimately a bit more of a wavy look, kind of like she had in the film.
Yeah, sure.
Which would make sense to a certain extent. I mean, natural hair does that even like in real life, right? Like a girlfriend can curl up her hair like crazy and it's completely out by the end of the night.
Yeah, so, except it doesn't have the weight that real hair on a human has. So it's debatable. Yeah.
And like you said, taking the risk of kind of massaging those curls out a little bit to then accidentally maybe even wreck it would also be devastating. And then what do you do, right? And I've kept saying, Pete and Valkyrie, like I keep saying that like, Artisan is cool conceptually for me because I do think the hair can make a figure look more like an actor versus or an actress versus a toy. But on the other hand, what is this going to do to resale value on these? Because, like, can you imagine? Like, it's already hard enough to sell a Hot Toys nowadays. Yeah. If you have rooted hair as well, like, you're going to have to send so much proof that hair is, like, still okay.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're never going to get the price point you paid for it back, in my opinion. Like, what do you think the resale market could look like for Artisan? And what were your thoughts, Valkyrie, on Scarlet Witch here?
Not sure yet. I mean, to me, it looks fine. It's not too bad, but most people are always like they nitpick these things to death, and sometimes I feel like when I see a figure that's not bad, but sometimes it can suddenly just go way down with people like just crapping on it. But I think it's not too bad. But you're right though. I could see like eventually the curls start to go straighten out and things like that, and eventually the sale is not selling it in the future. May not be you might lose something on that one too, but everything you buy, there's always like a risk in buying it, everything. So like or anything. So if you buy something, just always note that in the back of your head that you may buy the very best of one thing, and then 2 months later, they put out a better version. So just buy with like sort of like with the idea that you're getting a really cool item at that moment and time, and it's just enjoy it for that moment in time, and don't look to the future. Just be satisfied with what you have.
Very true, because even this was actually one of those situations, Valkyrie, whereas the WandaVision version of Scarlet Witch was coming out, and then they were coming out with the Multiverse of Madness Wanda, and then it was this one. It's like, okay, which one do you need? How many Wandas does one require for their collection? It's kind of crazy that way. Shout out to Jedi Knights Watch here as well, because he had posted this. And it actually made me laugh because I was like, oh my God, that figure does not look good. This was one of the first photos that I saw in comparison to the actual actress. And like, again, we were talking about the curls and the waviness. Like, I would even say that the color of the hair looks a little off. It looks a little too orange, right? And again, that could be lighting. It could be various factors because there are scenes in the film too where she has a little bit more of an orange flare to her hair for sure. But this actually looks like April O'Neil orange. You know what I mean? It's supposed to just like having some red streakiness in there. So yeah, hard to say. But yeah, shout out to Jedi Knights Watch for this a horrible comparison photo, but awesome one at the same time. D'Lo the Collector, speaking of Jedi Knights Watch, Wolfpack member in the house. Love to see you here, buddy. Thank you for the wishes, man. I appreciate you as always. I would love to get D'Lo on the show here at some point. So, you know, he's a family man himself. So we gotta work with him in advance. See if we can get you here soon at some point, buddy. Michael, last but certainly not least, what were your thoughts here, buddy, on the Scarlet Witch and maybe the Artisan line? Now I had a chance to see what Artisan is starting to really kind of look like.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't buy an Artisan figure if you paid. There's no way.
I should have saved the how about no one for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Close to being worth it, but you should never show pictures like this. I think the prototype eats the final product for lunch. I think it looks more like her. Much more like her.
You like the prototype more? Okay.
Oh, much more. And then also, I agree with Pete once again. She suffered from a case of the dulls. I much prefer her in her full regalia. You know. Oh, yeah. Headdress and the whole 9 yards. That's right. It's just I really don't like many of the cinematic universe's versions of the Marvel character uniforms. They missed the mark more than they hit it, and I just think this is just boring. As far as the weave, I can't see a lot of people buying this figure and being successful with maintaining that hair. I just don't. I don't think most of the collectible community has enough skill or even patience to deal with this stuff. We'll see over time, because it hasn't. Their Artisan stuff hasn't been out long enough. But Ben, you make another point that I didn't even think about. You know, like on the resale market, you know, how's this going to play out? And then let's say you buy this figure, right? You take it out of the box. Hair smells like tobacco.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what's going on in the environment. That these
every house is pet free and smoke free. Didn't you realize this? Every house. Yeah.
that should make you even more, you know, 100%. Concerning. Rather than hey, I'm buying it because I love it and it's for me. I don't even sell figures. I dig it. I'm going to get it. Fine. Anything after that, big risk. I think a
lot of people don't have the square balls to take on something like that, because to me, even though if I'm paying big money for Hot Toys, I never see that as a start. The first thing I'll do is I'll just take it apart and I'll do stuff. So for me, I would see it as a challenge, as a project. I would take it on, but I completely understand why a lot of people don't even want to how do I take the trousers off, and how do I do, they're so kid gloves around these things because they're so expensive. It wouldn't bother me. I'd just give it aside. I did it on my Aragorn, and it was so much better. But there was a moment where it was all out like this. I was like, oh fuck, that's But you got to just have faith. And
look how easy people break pegs from arms.
Yeah.
We're talking about something just light and airy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Well, and I've been collecting now for going on 15 years already, which is wild. But even me, I don't even have the experience with rooted hair like some of us out there in the community do. And I tried to mess with my in-art Joker hair a little bit just to try and futz that a bit, and I think I made it worse, honestly. Just by mildly touching it, I made it worse. And so I know there are collectors, again, shout out D'Lo the Collector. There are guys out there who you can reach out to who have a little bit more experience with styling and futzing of rooted hair, but there's definitely a sweet spot in the collecting community of videos on tutorials on how to properly do some of that stuff. I think that could be made, because if you know how to do it, share your knowledge with us all. And if you've already done it, tell me where to find those videos, and I will pump them week over week here for you guys. I think it's helpful.
I must get this in. I do have a figure that has, and I mean rooted hair. It's not glued on. It's a TV League figure called Night of Fire. And I didn't even realize her hair was rooted until about a month ago. And I've had the figure almost a year. And then I go back and I'm looking at the specs and it says rooted. And I'm looking at the hair and I go, oh, damn it, it is. But I found it very easy to style because it doesn't have a whole lot of curl to it. But I found easy. I put just a little bit of unscented lotion and mostly water. Lotion is just to get it to get smoothed out. It'll eventually dry up along with the alcohol that's in it anyway. But when I style it, which is mainly just straight down, it stays. It doesn't frizz out or anything like that. That's the most I've ever had experience with rooted hair. But I would be really afraid to take a chance with something like this.
Yeah. Definitely. Ash Chase says this is the end game. She didn't have the head thing, so it makes sense to watch the end game again. I don't think that's what he was saying. What Michael was saying is that he just preferred the look of
a different
her and
version
other
for his
representations.
And I think the thing is as well, I mean, the scary bit of these is the first thing you have to do is wash all the products out, because they're very heavily gelled and sprayed. And I think with all the stuff we've heard about the hair falling out of these, I think I'd be a bit worried that you'd end up with, losing half the hair because you've been a little bit rough with it to get all the stuff out. Whereas I think from what I've seen, in-art seemed to be more, I didn't lose any. I might have maybe lost one or two hairs from Aragorn when I did that, and I was pretty, I had to be quite vigorous with it to get all that product out and everything. So I think it seems like in-art have got that down pat better than Hot Toys, so I'd be a little bit worried that you could end up with some big bald patches if you weren't too careful. So yeah.
Alopecia.
Yeah.
I hate to see it. Adrian Underwood says, restyled my Anakin, use a small amount of product and makeup brushes. Yeah, great call, especially with those smaller tools. Just a quick reminder, we have just over 70 people in the live show watching us right now. Thank you guys again for getting nuts with us here on Sunday. If you don't mind, if you're just joining in, if you don't mind hitting the like button, definitely be helpful just to get this show out to the masses, especially once it airs today. So definitely appreciate
What's the ETA on your custom Joker sculpts now, Ben?
I should have that somewhere in the next month, apparently.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Very, very excited about that. I got the John Woo head sculpt of Heath Ledger, and it looks insane. Like the final production photos are insane. So I'm happy because I've been chasing the best version of Joker, I feel like, since I literally started collecting. DX11 was the first Joker I ever had, but even I still have that one in my collection, but I've been chasing the best version. I almost got the J&D, and then I canceled the order and lost $200, and then they improved it. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing it again. So it's one of those things. One of those things. Really cool. Really quick. Exo6 has shown us some final packaging of their Gorn figure. The Gorn hasn't gone up for pre-order quite yet. When they do, I will make a video on it, of course, just because I'm a Star Trek nut. But on the right hand side, you see a Gorn from the original series, and then on the the second picture below with the open mouth, that's actually from Strange New Worlds, so kind of a redesign of the Gorn slightly. But it looks like Exo6 is going in with the original series Gorn figure, so I think that'll be cool. So far, I've been happy with all of the Exo6 aliens, if I'm being honest. I think they've all looked really good. So I think this will probably be in that same boat. My only worry is what's the price point going to look like for this. For figures like my Krug, for example, he was well over $300, which is starting to get into pretty pricey territory for Star Trek characters, and there's so many Star Trek characters that I'd want. So you have to be pretty calculated in what you get here. But have you still been buying any Exo6, Pete, or have you stopped?
I'm still waiting for my first one. I haven't. I had that motion picture Kirk, which I sold on fairly quickly, but I did pre-order the Sulu from Undiscovered Country, and he's meant to be out Q2, so that should be the end of the month. But I don't know. You don't really get any updates, you just get bang. This looks really cool. I've been reading a lot of stuff on it, and it seems like it's going to be very, very limited. You know, possibly like 300 units or something, because apparently it's cost a lot more money to make than was expected. So, I mean, I'm almost tempted to pick one up just as an investment. I know we always talk about this isn't an investment and stuff, but if it's that limited, I'm almost might just pick one up just to see if it appreciates massively in price. And just the unit size alone is enough to, because it's surprising. You know, I don't know if you guys saw it, that Disney just recently did like a life-size mouse droid from Star Wars. It was radio controlled and lights and sounds. Well, they were £90. We've got one for my son for like his birthday in September, but they only made 300 and they're sold out. So now they're selling on eBay for like 270 quid. So like that small edition size is enough to kind of, even for something like this, it's quite niche, I think, to kind of suddenly make it double the price. That's what happened with those motion picture figures as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's a very odd looking guy. I mean, the dress thing that he wears and all this sort of thing. But I might just pull the trigger on it and just see if it, appreciates. Move it on.
I'm gonna try as well. I'm gonna try as well. OG fan, it has not gone up for pre-order quite yet. I will try to keep everybody apprised though, still when it will, because obviously I've been kind of following Exo 6 since the channel started as well. So for sure. Cool. Valkyrie or Michael, did you guys have any thoughts on Trek figures? Have you guys looked at any Exo 6 figures in the past, or?
I've always looked at it, but I never did. But so I was a big fan of the original Star Trek series, like a really big fan. Used to watch it. So I'm kind of aging myself, but in the 70s and 80s, used to watch it all the time, read the books. Me and my dad would watch it. And then we even got the video game later on, which was pretty awesome, where you got to play the Gorn. But I was going to say this. My favorite part was like when the Gorn reaches out for you, here it comes. Super slow. Oh my god, it's so funny when you see that thing coming after you.
Yep, absolutely.
I think I might have to get this, even though I don't have any Exo 6 figures, just because of that. He may be the only Star Trek figure I have, but it might cause me to buy others.
That's fair. And I'll be honest, like I have been pretty vocal about, I don't enjoy watching Engine and how he corresponds with his buyers and stuff. I think he's a very eccentric person from kind of what I can see, but I don't know him personally. But I haven't always liked the way that he is with people and with Star Trek. Having said that, he also knows he's the only game in town when it comes to Star Trek figures. So if you want them, that's where you got to buy them from.
Exactly.
It gives them some authority in that respect. So, but yeah, I mean, I was, years ago when I first got the channel started, I only had about 500 subscribers at that time, and I had made a video because I kept seeing QC issues for the figures. And so I mentioned in my video, hey, it seems like there's a lot of QC issues that are kind of, rising to the surface with regards to these figures. And he messaged me directly and basically told me that Paramount had reached out to him to say there's this YouTube channel that said there's a lot of QC issues, and he wants to know what a lot of QC issues mean to me. So I sent him the 4 or 5 examples that I'd seen literally that day and said, more than 4 or 5 in one day does seem like it's stacking up a little bit here. But sorry, I used the word a lot. And he was like, well, Paramount is threatening to take the license away from me because of what you said in your video.
Oh,
and
wow,
said,
the power you have.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's absolutely no chance that my 500 subscriber base has that much weight with Paramount that I would get your license pulled from you. But if that's the case, I apologize. You can put me in touch with Paramount.
That's brilliant.
And never heard from him again.
No.
So, and I continued, and even though I felt like he was just trying to shut me up, which he obviously was trying to do, that was back when the channel was much smaller. The channel is a lot larger now, and I've still continued to support the figures from that company, for better or for worse, and I'll talk about them if they're bad. Right, it's the sculpted butter figures. You know, there's a few of them, but that Wesley Crusher, I freaking hate that Wesley Crusher so far. But on the other hand, I also love figures like my Locutus. I love my Krug. Like there are some in my collection that I really love. My Geordie LaForge even was amazing. I really like him, and so again, for better or for worse, but you can't shut us up, so you got to deal with it. You know, and we're always as collectors going to expect the most from these companies. So just because you're the only game in town does not mean that's going to be the way that is forever either. So don't forget. Let's move on. We got. Whoa. Sorry, Michael. My apologies. I hate to see it. You hate to see it. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Right past me. Let me tell you.
No, never.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Thomas. You're really ticking me off, pal. You have cried about being on an island by yourself, loving Star Trek. I've been in a chat for several years now. I love Star Trek. But Ben, you totally ignore me. Dude,
what? No way. Dude, there's no chance.
I was around before Star Wars existed. Star Trek was the thing.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. What's that? Let me make you big. What's that? Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I original series, you know. Dude, I love me some Star Trek. I'm not crazy about the latest renditions of them, the Discovery crap and all that stuff. But man, everything all the way up to I guess I love Deep Space Nine. I love everything all the way up to Deep Space Nine. And then this is probably
you got
my favorite Star Trek episode.
Yeah, nice.
Great figure too. Looks really
Mirror, unbelievable. As a matter of fact, that episode gave way to the multiverse. Yeah, I mean, Roddenberry did it before everybody. This is basically a multiverse kind of episode.
100%.
So, dude, tremendous Star Trek fan. I just recently picked up Q. May very well be my figure of the year. That head sculpt on Q, I don't think anybody could have done a better job.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Looks exactly like John Delancey, 100%.
So good. Downside, half of their figures look like garbage, and I'm really off with this company. I had planned on not buying another figure other than Mirror Spock until they released Uhura. But I really want that Q. Looks so great. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get Q, and I'm going to stop there. I thought about getting Sulu, Mirror Sulu. I'm going to stop right there because you know what's going to happen. They've taken so much time to get her out. Uhura is going to be worth. Then I'm probably not going to want to pay for it. It depends on what they're going to have. So I'm so ticked off at XO6. I'm really disappointed. Biggest disappointment in a company that I've ever had.
It's true because, like, especially with figure lines, right? I'm having this experience with my Next Generation line. Like, my original intention was to own everything from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then when I saw the Beverly Crusher, and I was like, she's not perfect, but she's not great. But then they showed Wesley Crusher, and I was like, oh my god, I really dislike that prototype. But now I'm like, okay, well now I'm just not going to collect that whole line then. But then I have a bridge crew without Wesley, and they still haven't shown Riker. I looked back when they originally teased Riker like 3 years ago, and I'm really worried about the facial hair being just like sculpted plastic, like brown plastic. Like it's I'm nervous. I'm anxious, but I feel your pain on that, Michael, because again, when you have some favorite characters that you know for sure you would want, there's that anticipation of, are they even going to be good enough to buy? The other thing that I've been very critical of is just their blogger photos. Whenever 6-Scale Mafia gets a chance to do the blogger photos, they're really decent. But then most of the time they use like a local blogger because it takes too long to get the figures over to 6-Scale Mafia and then get it back and like all that. So the turnaround times isn't as quick. So he doesn't get the opportunity most times. And the blogger photos that they use are terrible. They're literally terrible. And I'll get these figures in hand and I'll take photos on my Samsung camera phone.
Same here.
And the quality is like ridiculously like good in comparison. I'm like, and I'm no professional photographer by any stretch, so like I have no business having better photos than blogger photos like that.
Do you think there's two different teams working there? Because
I think there's like 5 different teams. I honestly think there's like an A, B, C, D, E team. Like,
because some 100%. Of the people I'm like, wow, that looks great. And some sculpts are like, that doesn't look anything better than a Barbie doll. I mean, it's just it's crazy.
100%. I definitely think there are different teams.
There's the F team too. It just feels like.
Absolutely.
Right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night here. It's 10 past midnight here in the UK.
Wow.
So
did you have any quick thoughts on Predator? Because we only had Predator left, and I know I think you're a Predator guy, right? If I'm not mistaken, we can go back to the Pirate here in a sec.
Yeah. I've got the classic. I won't be upgrading. I think that I've read a lot of stuff about people criticising, saying that they haven't addressed a lot of. The classic was never meant to be the Jungle Hunter for Predator, but it was good enough. But I think they've just copied a lot of the things from there. I'm not die-hard enough to know all those intricacies and bits and pieces, but I know there are people out there that are. So I think they're well-founded. That appears that Hot Toys have been being a little bit lazy. They talk about a new body, but we're not sure whether the pictures in the protos are actually the new body or that's to come. So I thought about it. I thought, yeah, I might upgrade, but to be honest, I'm more than happy with my classic. So I think I'll leave it. I think it'd be interesting to see whether this is the end of this or whether they do a Dutch or any of the other guys. I can't see them going past Dutch this time, but they might do a Dutch. Obviously, Arnie seems to have kind of opened up his license a bit now with the Mr. Freeze and stuff like that. So it's potentially an option, and I think bigger picture, it possibly might open the gates to Aliens re-release, which a lot of people were talking about way back in the chat, which would be really good. So I don't hate it. If I didn't have the classic, I think I could quite happily pick this up and be happy with it. But obviously, if you are like that zoned in to the minuscule sort of details, then obviously you want the best from Hot Toys, and it appears like we're not getting it. So I'd quite like the spine and the skull to go with mine. Maybe I'll try and pick one of those up when he comes out. But yeah,
that is pretty cool. I totally agree. Pete, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for being here as always.
Yeah,
thanks
pleasure
for your time for Classy too.
Yeah, pleasure to stream with all you guys. See you again soon.
Good to see you. Take care.
Yeah, cool. Cheers, guys.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
See you, buddy. And as one leaves, we have another one joining us in the stream. You love to see it. We got X-Men Supreme, Mr. Dave, showing up to take the place of Pete. You love to see it, buddy. Good to see you here, man. How are things going with you, man?
I just realized how late I am, and I've missed almost everything. But I want to join on anyway. I got in honor of the birthdays, I got a celebratory fried chicken. So here we go.
Something that I can't eat. Thank you very much, because I am celiac, so I will watch you
I'll enjoy it for you.
Yeah, that's right. I love to see it, buddy. Dude,
I'll do some ASMR here for you.
Very nice, very nice. Before we finish our thoughts on Predator, I did want to go back. I didn't know if Pete would have anything spicy to say about the Predator, so I wanted to get that in. But this third-party company has given us a Barbossa, Captain Barbossa, from the original Pirates film. And like, to be honest, in terms of third parties, this thing goes hard. Like look at the facial hair. Like the scarring under the eyes, the sculpt is really good. The outfit looks really good. The accessories are badass. The only thing that I've heard is that this price point I think is well over $300. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys. But I heard this thing was going to be pretty freaking pricey in terms of third party. But I think if you've got the Jack Sparrow or even our representation of Jack Sparrow, how could you not consider getting this in the display? I'm really curious to see how they actually get that facial hair to stick. Like obviously it's just going to be glue, right? But like this could really amp up, in my opinion, what we expect from, companies like Hot Toys or InArt, in my opinion, for facial hair in the future. If the third party can pull this off and do it well, I would really like to see this kind of, facial hair going forward for characters, for sure. So again, very expensive. It sounds like, thanks. 12-inch Moose Stream says, not a huge Pirates fan, but $337. So like, wow, that's high. I remember a time where nobody would pay any more than about $1.80 for a third-party figure, no matter how good it was, right? So, yeah, tell us what you think, Michael. What do you think about the figure, price point, all the good stuff? Michael, I'll go to you, buddy. What do you think about this this figure? Yeah.
I can't help but seeing Alec Baldwin in.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. And then once again, as I predicted several years ago, particularly when InArt came into the game, they're giving Hot Toys a run for its money. These third-party companies aren't playing around, and now Hot Toys can't get away with rooted hair and sculpted beards. Well, they can, but then they're going to be in second place or third. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they're going to have to up the game. And when you look at the layers of clothing that this figure is wearing, tailoring is light. I mean, it's very well done. Extremely well done. This looks fantastic. It really looks fantastic. Am I going to get it? No. Do I dig Pirates? Yeah. But I'm not going to get this in particular. But I still can appreciate the artistry. It looks great.
Absolutely. Valkyrie, what are your thoughts here on Captain Barbossa, or the third-party representation of him? And what do you think the chances are that Hot Toys is now going to respond with a 2.0 of their original Barbossa? What do you think?
I think it looks great. I mean, it looks fantastic. And I definitely think Hot Toys will do a 2.0 after seeing this. They're like, you got to protect your property, your IP, and you can't have anyone else encroaching on your IP. Also, it's also a matter of like pride of workmanship as well. You can't have like a third-party company suddenly show you up. You're going to have to come back and say you're the best and put out a better product. I think that's probably what's going to happen, because you can't just let this go. And it'd be kind of cool to see that too. For me, I think it looks great. I was an okay fan. I mean, I did buy the Jack Sparrow, but if they put this out, I might consider getting it. But I still think, what do you call it? I was going to say Legolas, but you know who I meant.
You didn't mean Legolas?
Or not Legolas, the character, but I'm sorry, I'm getting.
Jack Sparrow.
Will Turner.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah,
I think that might. Hey,
Mr.
that might.
Katy Perry.
What do you call it? Push Hot Toys to make it go back in that line. Maybe fill out the other characters too, which might be pretty cool.
I momentarily totally forgot that was the same person. Honestly, I was like, Legolas? What? What did I miss? I didn't smoke yet today. I don't understand.
I was going to say this because my wife had a crush on Legolas.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a crush on him, but he was my favorite character.
Yes.
For sure. Excellent Supreme, you don't just have one Jack Sparrow, you've had two Jack Sparrows in your collection.
I know, man. I'm freaking I'm riding that train, bro.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on getting a Captain Barbossa? Are you gonna hold off for a Hot Toys, or do you think this would be something you'd be considering?
I've reached that point finally in my 6-scale collecting venture where now I have to consider these things. And I'm not happy about it. Like, this looks amazing, and if this turns out like this, oh my gosh, is that going to be incredible? And I want it. Barbossa is, shoot, man. If it wasn't for Jack Sparrow, Barbossa would be the guy in those films.
Yeah, totally.
Hands down. An argument can be made that he is the guy in those films. If we're being totally honest, that dude, Jeffrey Rush, I remember I had a whole conversation with Flavio about it. yesterday, and it was just this dude. What does this guy not have as a character? That he is everything you want a pirate to be. When you think of a pirate, Jeffrey Rush did that. He's got so much charisma. He's so bleeding intelligent and cunning. If not as learned as some other characters, but more so learned than you would expect, maybe from a dastardly scoundrelly pirate. The guy, oh my gosh, he was amazing. And I definitely want a Barbossa in my collection to offset my Jack Sparrow. I don't know if I'll go after this one. I'm tempted because they're rooting the beard. What? Now there was a third party Barbossa already made, right?
A couple years ago. I don't remember.
Because I swear I saw a picture on Facebook Marketplace or something, and it looked exactly like this guy. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Unless that was the original Hot Toys one you were seeing, because that one was pretty old too.
Maybe, I don't know. Either way, this looks incredible. If Hot Toys wants to, come out and make another one because they like to be reactionary at times, okay, sure. I'll definitely, if they come out tomorrow and say, hey, we're doing this, okay, I'll pre-order it. But I don't know, man. I'm seriously thinking about this. This looks really, really good. What was it Natalie was saying on Will's show? Like, there's been a couple of third parties that you miss and they turn out to be the most amazing thing, and you're like, well, damn. And this could be one of those. I don't know.
It's always such a gamble, because it's like it could be an amazing. Like, again, when we saw that Cesar Romero Joker from Mars Toys originally, right? And it was like, okay, is there any chance it's going to come out this good though? And then it did, and it was like, holy crap! Like, I mean, anybody who is negative about that ate their words. But then I've also seen third-party figures that look amazing in the prototype, and they come out and they literally look terrible. It's just like, and so can you imagine you spend $337 on this and it does come out terrible? Like, that would suck. But at the same time, I don't want to root for these companies to fail. I want them to win. So I hope it does come out as good as this. What's that? This is the prototype.
Yeah. Well, see, Dean was talking about who's the company behind this? Dean was talking about him. And he made a pretty good argument for the potential of this being really good.
What company is this again?
So Moose Dream said an alias company of Damn Toys.
Now, Damn Toys has a pretty good reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't remember which figure it was that Dean was talking about, but he said he was talking about a couple of theirs that they made that were really good.
I my Blade Runner Harrison Ford was Damn Toys, and that head sculpt. That head sculpt is great.
Now, see, friggin'
makes me feel good.
Mike bought that. If Mike will buy it, then that's a glowing review right there.
No, I didn't.
What'd you pay for that? That Blade Runner.
I wouldn't buy this particular figure.
No, but the Blade Runner. What'd you pay for that?
Oh, I didn't. It was gifted to me.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
I take back everything I just said.
It was gifted to me after I pronounced how Blade Runner is my favorite movie of all time, and Harrison Ford is my favorite IP of all time. He's the only actor who has 3 major IPs that have been iconic under his belt: Blade Runner, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Nobody can touch him. He is my GOAT when it comes to actors. So yeah, you better believe. And just, I don't want to keep us long. Just real quickly, shout out to S-Beam, who's the one who gifted that to me after he knew how much I wanted it. So I want everybody
shout
to know
out to S-Beam.
Oh wow,
what a great guy he is.
Hell yeah.
100%.
So yes, so that's
100%. Pete, still in the chat with us too, here did say that the third party was called The Lord of the Caspian Sea by SW Toys. So like a pretty stark difference to this, right? Like, oh my god, like, just no comparison. Like, it looks so much better than this.
What are they calling this guy?
This was called the Lord of the Caspian Sea. This is
what's the Damn Toys one called?
Oh, the new one. Give me one sec.
Or Alias or whatever it is.
Yeah, I accidentally minimized my shit here. You hate to see it. Sorry, guys. Let's see what the heck. My bad. What was it called here? Hate to see it. What was that? Pirate King of the Inner Sea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very fancy. Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
Okay. So Noon Toys says that Marilyn Monroe life-size bust that's amazing is from Damn Toys, which is firework.
Oh, okay.
And also happy birthday. Thank you.
Yeah,
Happy birthday,
they've got a good enough reputation where, you know, I mean, just like any other company, they could be hit or miss, but they got a good reputation out there.
It makes me more excited. If that's the case, like that makes me more excited because I'm like, again, I'm a bit of a penny pincher lately when it comes to collectibles. I only get the ones that I really, truly either really want or think are amazing, and over $300 is a lot for a gamble, but if it's coming from somewhere that's a little more reputable, I'm more excited. That's for sure. Let's move into our final topic of the day, guys. Predator, and then I want to respect everybody's time and get us out the door here. Predator, the 2.0, or what some people are calling kind of more of a soft 2.0, maybe almost like a 1.5 has come. I know Pete gave some take on this earlier here before he had a chance to leave as well. You know, I originally did my take video on this Predator about 4 minutes after the pre-order, you know, went up, or like the blogger images went up for the announcement. And I will admit, like, I was pretty excited initially to see this because I never had the original Jungle Hunter Predator. I missed it all those years ago. Anytime I've ever considered getting it on the secondary market, it was like way higher in price than I think it deserved to be. But again, that's the nature of collecting, right? If it's limited, if it's something that is hard to find, it's obviously going to be higher in price. And we know Hot Toys likes their piece of the pie, and 2.0s are just going to come fast and furious for everything. What I've learned in this community was that, or in this hobby, is that, you know, the 2.0s, the days of the grail, I think are gone. You know, we're going to get this 2.0 in 10 years. We're going to get a 3.0. We're going to get a 4.0. Like, they're never going to stop. And so get the representations of these figures that you love the most and either be happy with it or be willing to trade it out and, you know, potentially lose a little bit of money. It's not about the money, though. I think for this one, this was a bit of a hot button subject for people this week because there were some collectors, including myself, that were just happy to see this, you know, coming back to availability. I'm excited to get a Predator in hand. What I didn't realize was some of the inaccuracies that were present and some of the odd comparisons that they were giving us, right? And Pete kind of highlighted this. They were comparing this more to the classic Predator, as opposed, which is the MMS 162, versus the original Jungle Hunter. I think from what I look at the Jungle Hunter now that we've had some more time with this, you know, the coloration of the outfit was quite a bit different. The body's a little bit different. Some of the weathering's a little bit different. Some of the battle damage on the head, like on the mask, is a little bit different. The height is definitely an issue for this figure. You know, keep in mind, this has taken more than 10 years to get a reissue of this figure. So anything over a decade, you would expect at that point, pretty solid level of perfection in terms of the character himself. You know, the height is a big issue, right? Like, you see him standing up next to Arnold Schwarzenegger here. This figure is going to be closer in size to like our Arnold Terminator figure that we're getting than this height comparison in comparison. So like, they didn't change the body sizing. There's just a lot to it, I think, that isn't quite right. Now, again, for the layman Predator collector, I like Predator as a film, but I'm certainly not an expert on it. I still think I'm going to pick this up. You know, like we do often say, vote with your wallet. And if you're super passionate about the fact that this isn't 100% accurate, yeah, maybe don't support it. I do think that vocal criticism is important. We have seen figures get improved over the years with, you know, collective community criticism, right? Like, hey, this isn't right. This needs to be fixed. You know, the most recent example is the fixed black suit Toby, but we've seen, you know, reissue Mark 46. We've seen those types of things, right? And I think if we're vocal, but, you know, coming at it with constructive criticism, sometimes we win and get it changed. I think as, you know, sometimes panelists or YouTubers and stuff like that, we get so excited about it that it's easy to be excited and skip on some of the details that might actually be truly important to the people who are truly hardcore fans. So to those folks, thank you for being so vocal in terms of, what this guy needs in order to kind of hit that 100% mark on a 2.0, because otherwise I agree, this is kind of like a 1.5. It's slightly better, but it's certainly not perfect. I do still kind of freaking want it though, and it does open up the door for Alien and some of those other older school options to maybe come back around. So Dave, what was your thoughts seeing this in the community this week? Obviously there was some great reception of the figure, but then there were some very vocal people out there too, Dean Knight being one of the big ones, who really was able to kind of put this on blast a little bit and say, hey guys, no, like this is not good enough. And I think that was appropriate to say so. What are your thoughts?
I have to agree. I am not such a Predator guy myself, but I think the sentiment stands for everything, where as old as that one is, if this doesn't show a marked improvement, then what's the point? What are they doing? Like, you really do need to make it right. Like, they've made Iron Man bigger increasingly over the years. I don't know why. Did 1/6 change? Like, did Robert Downey Jr. get taller in the last couple of years? What's going on? Friggin' scaling is very important. Like, if it's gonna be a 1/6 of the size of a thing, well, it needs to be the 1/6 of the size of the thing, and clearly this is not. And Hot Toys, as I'm sure everyone talks about the whole company aspect of it, they got to do what they can to reuse stuff. Okay, great. But truth in advertising, right? You want your thing to be what the thing says it is. And that's the whole crux of it. But at the same time, also, I'm sure they bank on the fact that, if you want it, well, this is it. Like if I am someone who's always been outspoken about scaling, and if I were to vote with my wallet, I would not own one single Wolverine figure.
Yeah, right.
Because they're all too fucking big. Like, they should all be, a head shorter than every other character on the shelf, at least.
Yeah.
And they're just not. And that is, it irks the hell out of me, but I want Wolverine, so I've got him. So it comes down to that. If this is your guy, well, get him now, or I guess don't have your guy. I don't know, But at the same time, it's like, yeah, make him different, make him right, make the original one that people love so much, worth having still, and friggin' make this guy the best that there is. And that way people who have the original will want to buy this one. Like, they're leaving people out of potential customerdom, because the people who already have the original one, they're like, well, this is what I already have. Why do I need a new one? They'll buy a new one. People will buy a new one. People will buy like 5 new ones. If you're Moose. But yeah, dude, it's like, they need to make them right. They need to make them right.
100%. And because we were even talking about this earlier before you got on X-Men, Michael, we were talking about this with the Star Trek figures, right? Like, it's weird that, a company can put so much effort into some characters and then so little effort on some of their other characters that are available, or IPs that they have available. And I would say that, again, if as a collecting community or YouTubers or whoever covers this stuff or thinks about this stuff, if we often just make excuses for companies, they can't do it, or it would have been too expensive, or blah blah blah, whatever our rationale is for still wanting to buy it and not being too critical, then we give them license to be lazy and cheap, right? We give them that license. Seeing that third party pirate that we just looked at, with the facial hair, right? How many times have we, talked about how cool would it be to have facial hair on figures, and it's like, no, it can't be done, or it would be wildly too expensive, or on and on and on. And then we see something like a third party figure do it, and then mark our words, at some point Hot Toys is going to come out with facial hair on their figures, right? Because once the man behind the curtain, once the Wizard of Oz is kind of exposed, and you see that really any criticism that we have for these things can be worked on. I mean, we're talking over 10 years of paint technology improvements and figure body improvements and all the things. Michael, there's no reason why this figure couldn't have been 100% accurate at this point. What are your thoughts?
Well, if it were 100% accurate, that's more PVC, which is more money.
Fair.
But the other thing is, I'm going to say this, I've said it before, the 12 scale community, the folks who collect 6-inch figures, there's much more unity than it is in the 6 scale. If Hasbro comes out with a HasLab that's funky, it goes around and everybody unites and goes, we're not having this, and they don't put nothing to those Kickstarters. And then HasLab either drops what you're gonna do, come out with something better. Hot Toys has no reason to give you movie accuracy, even though they say they do. They have no reason to give you artistry, even though they glue the hair on, because you keep buying it. So I mean, you can cry and complain all you want, but until you cut the money stream off, they're going to continue doing whatever they want. Hot Toys doesn't put out figures that its customer wants. Hot Toys puts out figures that it wants, and more than likely, you're going to want them too anyway. So they can continue to do this.
Very true. That's very, very true. I think that's an amazing point, because I feel that way too. And I mean, Dave even kind of alluded to that, right? Like, we do talk about voting with our wallets, and yeah, this other community, like you said, in terms of kind of collective community, they just either support it or they don't. That I think is more appealing, because then those collectors also have more stake in the game, right? They have more reason to be vocal, because they have to also help crowdfund it a little bit in order to get it produced. And so each party has a little bit more stake in the game. But like you said, Hot Toys knows they're going to get money out of us anyways, or the majority of us anyways. And so yeah, like, again, it gives them license to be lazy and cheap if and when they do it, because we're teaching them how to treat us at the very least, right? But on the other hand, I agree with Dave when he says, like, if it's still a character you want, though, even if it's not 100% accurate, all you're really doing is hurting yourself by not buying it, because if that, one or two of us or even 50 of us decide not to buy this, there's still 4,000 of us that will. So they don't care, right? And that's tricky. That's tricky to navigate that. Valkyrie, what are your thoughts here on the Predator? I mean, the figure is still really freaking cool, let's be honest. And I still want it, despite some of the obviously notable inaccuracies that have been highlighted. How did you feel about this week's news on the Predator?
I'll probably say I have to go from the perspective of still being like a newer-ish collector. So for me, looking at it, I don't see the flaws, because I'm still kind of a new guy on this, but I think it looks fantastic. I love it. Let's see here. For me, I'm excited about it because I don't know if you guys know this, but I've got a really big, lush backyard with lots of branches and stuff and tall. Sometimes I actually left an area for tall weeds, so I can actually photo some of my figures coming out of the grass or something like that. So it's a lot of fun. I know if I buy this, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. So I'm actually really excited about this, to be honest. I mean, as far as the flaws, whatever, I don't see them, because, like, as I said, being a newer guy, I don't. So maybe I guess I'm not quite jaded yet.
Well, let me reiterate. I don't have any issue with flaws either. As a matter of fact, I love the first and second Predator movies. Mm-hmm. I grew up on that. But I'm not really interested in having them in 6 scale. I've already got a Predator and an Alien in NECA. And they do great figures in 12 scale. But, does. I mean, I think it looks great. I just don't have any need for it personally.
100%, dude. 100%. Figure it out. Here has an interesting comment. He says, "Hi all. Predator tells me we ain't getting the Dutch 2.0 because a 1/6 scale Dutch would be about 12 inches and would look ridiculous beside the Predator, who isn't at least 14 inches, as Kevin Peter Hall was 7'2". And again, kind of showing this photo here gives you an idea, right? Like he was significantly taller than Arnold Schwarzenegger was. And so it's too bad. It is a miss. It's not a bit of a miss. It is a miss. It's too bad. I think this would have been a great opportunity to see that. Super Space Ape with a yo. Good to see you here, buddy. I still do hope we get a Dutch, and I wouldn't be surprised if they still gave it to us, even though the height isn't going to be correct, because we've seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger has obviously offered up his likeness again recently with some of these Terminator figures. I mean, Hot Toys is going to capitalize on that. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like the same head sculpt. So,
I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, for
Dutch,
sure. And at the very least, you could kit bash it, I guess, if you really needed to from it. So, what was that, Valkyrie? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Cut
You
off.
can buy a Dutch, and it could also be Commando at the same time.
Literally, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I wanted to show you guys one last thing because we were just you were just mentioning NECA, but I don't know if I can find it fast enough. Give me 30 seconds and see if I can. I think it's gone.
They made Commando. You know, we've got smaller bodies now. We could make his daughter too.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Make a young Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, Alyssa Milano. Yes.
Would that be weird? Maybe don't do that.
Maybe. I wanted to show you guys this really quick. Can you see that? Okay. This is NECA figures, and like NECA normally nails it, but these are the Wednesday figures from NECA, and they are some of the worst looking figures I've ever seen in my life. That does not look like Jenna Ortega in the background. I was like, what happened? What happened?
I don't know enough of how she looks. It still doesn't even look like a real character. It looks more like
It's so small, I can't really tell.
Can't see it that well? Sorry, guys. I don't know if I can get it any larger. Let me see if I can get it any larger. Let's see. Can I,
That's what she said.
Zoom it in?
No.
But
I don't think I can zoom it in any further.
That doesn't always nail it either. I really wanted the Pee Wee Herman, but I don't like any of the sculpts on the Pee Wee Herman that he came out with.
Yeah. If you like Wednesday, that is something that you guys need to protest, because my God, that's not good. Not good. Guys, that is the show for today. Let us know what your thoughts are on that Predator in our comments, by the way, if you can. Always appreciate it. I wanted to give another quick shout out to the 16 Fix channel. Thanks for stopping in, buddy, to say happy birthday. It means a lot, and to say that nice thing about Classy as well. On 16 Fix channel, he will be having Jose Plus host another King Shark Tank on June 21st, so stay tuned for that. We're going to get to see our lovely friends Vita and James face off against each other, or Jim the Collector, as you may know him as well. So that was a really fun show for me to be on. I was faced off against Feezy's Figures most recently there a couple weeks back. My pitch was Austin Powers, and I actually won. That competition, which was cool. Nice. So, but they're really fun. They're really, really fun. So I did want to say a really quick thank you once again to all the birthday wishes that have come through today, guys. I will respond to everybody's comments throughout the rest of the evening. I really appreciate the love and the support you guys have given not only my channel but all of my fellow panelists. Oftentimes the panelists who are here go on to do more on their own shows or go on other streams, and it's really fun to see the Let's Get Nuts family expand their wings and grow over time. I think we now have over 40 people in our Let's Get Nuts chat who have been panel members over the years. So guys, thank you so much for that. Before I read off our members here, Dave, is anything coming up for you, buddy, that you are excited about, good sir?
Just getting in the new releases. I'm looking forward to. I got my email about Ahsoka, and I got my my invoice for shipping from Pop Collectibles already for Wanda. So that's good. Other than that, yeah, just hanging out in the chats, getting on where I can. Still working a lot, so it's spotty,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, dude, thank you for popping in either way. Definitely appreciate you always being here when you can, as always. Mr. Michael, Figure in a Bubble, good sir. Anything coming up for you with regards to your channel or in life? Good sir.
Yeah, Figure in a Bubble on YouTube. Please go like and subscribe. There you go. Also, coming up later this month will be episode 3 of Moose and Me. So if you want to stay tuned for that. Also, later this month will be the second interview on the Collector Connector. I'm still looking around at who will be the next victim on that show. And if you go over to Figure in a Bubble, you'll see the interview that I did with X-Man last month. Like I said, this month I'll have another interview coming up. So yeah, Figure in a Bubble has something called Bubble TV, and that is where you find the Collector Connector, the interviews, and Moose and me. So yeah, look forward to seeing you guys again later this month, and you can find me every Monday with that crazy group of knuckleheads on Collector's Figure. I'm there with my straight jacket on as well, and yeah, thank you very much for your support, and Ben, appreciate you inviting me on, and once again,
oh yeah, dude,
happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you're welcome here anytime, buddy. Thank you so much for becoming part of the team. As always, let me know anytime you're interested in, and if there's seats, we'll always bring you in. I think the sweet spot is about 5 guests. Anything more than that, the show is like 4 hours long, so we gotta keep a cap on it. But every week, kind of midweek, I'll usually put out the flag to be like, who wants to be on, and we'll set you up for future shows. I'm sure we'll see you again. So thanks again for being here, buddy, and for the wishes. Mr. Valkyrie Magnus, you've been you're becoming more of a regular on the show. We've seen you a few more times. Anything coming up for you in life, good sir, that you are excited for?
This is gonna sound funny, but I'm looking forward to a Predator figure so I can take pictures of it in my backyard now.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that's right. I'm excited for those photos.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm actually having fun, like taking pictures of my figures in the backyard. I know, like, some people were like, "Are you crazy?" Because like they can get dirty or stuff like that. And like I came close to it's like getting like some mud on some of my figures once. So just have to be careful there. But actually, something a little bit new is I actually might come up with a new Instagram channel, which is actually, I don't know if you know this, some of my you might have seen this on some of my other photos, but I do a lot of sunset photos, floral photography, and let me see here, also like photography like on the beach and on like marinas too. So I'm thinking of creating another channel just for that, to do my and then I've already done some aviation photos also. So if you guys like that, I'll do more of that too. But just having fun being on streams. I just love being on your show too. I always thank you for the opportunity to be on your show and to stream with my other friends here too, which is always awesome.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Well said, dude. Thank you so much for being back. As always a pleasure to have you, man. And yeah, keep us posted. If you do end up doing another Instagram, we'll post it on the show, and people can, go over and click the subscribe button when you get that set up. So
awesome.
So keep us posted, okay?
Thank you.
Again, no worries, man. In terms of the Classy Nut crew, let's give us all a special shout out to you folks. We got SpongeBob SquareBalls, Alvin J, Collecting Weekly, Money Mendez, 1 Adam 12, 6 Scale Mafia, 1 6 Figure Focus, X-Men Supreme, King Dingaling, Sith Scale Collector, 12-inch Moose Stream, The Batman, The Movie Canon, Parks Industries, Don Matan, Honest Hansel, Peter Cass, Harry Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Jose G. Hernandez, Figure in a Bubble, Collection Obsession, Blurred Dad Life, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel SC, Figurecraft, Trevor Reed, Big Rib, or Big Rib, as Dean would say, Big Dog Pound 1, The Real Tex Conway, Monroe Corbeil, Valkyrie Magnus, Brick Artemis, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, Saphira Cosplay, Aaron Broverman, and Mr. Ron E. I will get you on the slide there for the next show. Sorry about that, buddy. I meant to do that this week. That is my bad. But guys, thank you so much for being channel members and being part of the Classy Nut crew. Going forward here. If you are here already, you're already watching the Ben Thomas Show, but please, if you're new to the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the stream if you can. Let everybody else get a chance to see it and have fun with us every single Sunday. But let's see here. Yeah, dude. Special shout out to Ronnie. Thanks for taking that in stride, man. Definitely appreciate it. Moose Stream says, Ben, in some stream, I can sing those names. I would like to see that. But with all that said, Mr. Dave, we got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe and makes you feel good. What should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.